Alrighty, hello, how's everyone doing? Good to see you all, it's good to be back. My goodness, it's been, what, over 2 weeks now since I did the last live stream? Sorry for leaving you all hanging like that, especially when we're like right at the end of a game. That was unfortunate timing for me to go away on a holiday, but I appreciate you all being here and coming back to see what hopefully is going to be the conclusion of Komorebi. Hope we're all doing well. I don't know if people, I don't know if it's a noticeable change or anything, but I have slightly adjusted the setup for the stream. I realized, looking back on some of the footage, I had my monitor up a little bit higher, which meant that my webcam was well above eye level. So I've just played with the positioning a little bit, slowed down. Hopefully it looks just a little more natural and a little less I'm constantly looking down like this all the time, and a little more actually making eye contact. Hi Eppley, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by, nice to see you here. Eyes Epic, what did you miss last stream? Well, I mean, the last stream I think was actually for the Ebenezer Metroidvania style game, but the last Komorebi game stream that we did, honestly, not too much. It was, going through some more scenes. We learned a little bit more about some of the characters. We wrapped up their D&D session. The spoilers, stuff that we did learn is that Isaac is actually Hermes. And has been kind of manipulating things from behind the scenes the whole time. And basically where we left off, the gang were about to head into Argus headquarters for Isaac's interview that he's doing. We're going along with Dante, who's going to try and find an opportunity to break away from the group and see if he can find some information about his parents and his family and where they've gone, because he's not been able to find them. So we are basically coming up to the final scenes of the game. In case you missed it as well, I is Epic, one of the major plot points that happened recently was that the protests in the city started getting a little out of hand and some people actually died. So now the local population have actually turned against Argus, and they're very much being labeled the bad guys. And so far, Argus hasn't really done anything in response to this. So everyone's kind of waiting to see what happens next. It's going to be interesting. Ooh, Budget Airlines. Hi, I haven't seen you for a while. For the sake of democracy, you guys get to vote on my drink. A, watermelon iced tea, B, strawberry iced tea, or C, pear hot tea. Ooh, very interesting. Okay, Budget Airlines, to help me out with this a little bit, I need some context. Where in the world are you? So it's going to be helpful to know kind of what season it is where you are, because if you're in Northern Hemisphere, obviously, weather's starting to get a little bit warmer. We're getting into springtime now. But if you're Southern Hemisphere, it's going to be a little colder, and that's going to help dictate the choice that you're going for. Myself, going for some nice hot tea. I've got a lovely cup of Monk's Blend here. Really nice soothing stuff. If Dante doesn't say it's time to make the devil cry, you'll be severely disappointed. You know what? I will be too. I'm kind of surprised, for Dante, there haven't been any of those kind of pop culture references, because I feel like it absolutely could have. Given the three choices you've presented, though, Budget, I would have to say, just based on the names alone, I'm with I is Epic. I would probably go for the watermelon iced tea. That sounds like the way to go. Oh, let me make sure I've got this set to live chat rather than top chat. I don't know why YouTube does that. Always make sure you've got it set to live chat so you don't miss any messages. And chilling in Pacific Northwest. A little on the cold side right now, but it'll probably warm up later in the day. Well, you know what that means? It means you go for the pear hot tea now, and then you go for the watermelon iced tea later when it does get warm. That's just logical, right? That's the best way to do it. And you get the best of both worlds. You get the hot now, you get the cold later. You get those vibes. You can bounce back and forward with it. It's going to be lovely. Alright, just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up with some other channel-related stuff that's going on at the moment. There's a few things that I think are just kind of worth knowing for bigger picture context. First of all, this will hopefully be the last Komorebi stream. It'll either be the second last or last. There's not much content left for us to get through. After that, we still have Ebenezer and the Invisible World to finish off. And we'll see what happens after that. I've got a few ideas for where I want to take live streams in the future, but I'm not 100% set in stone just yet. There's a confounding factor that I am going to be relocating back to Australia in about a month and a half's time, so there's going to be a period there where I'm just simply unable to stream, so you guys have to just deal. Normal channel content will be continuing. Hey Spider Macho, thanks for stopping by, good to see you. So yeah, we're going to see what happens. I'm at the point in the moment where, being totally honest, as much as I love the live streams, they're not always helping the channel. Like, seriously, since I announced that I was doing a live stream today, the channel has lost... Actually, let me check. I'll give you the full numbers so we can see where we're at. Always funny. It's always Komorebi. I don't know. It's something about Komorebi makes people go, I'm out. Yeah, we've lost about 10 subscribers already so far, and we've only just started the stream. It's a good day. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I am going to be continuing on with the streams, simply because they do take up a lot of time, and this is always time that I could be investing elsewhere into like script writing or editing, or producing additional other content for the channel. So I'm not 100% sure yet. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's just going to depend on like how badly you guys want me to continue with the live streams. If it's content that you want, I will continue with it. If it's kind of neither here nor there, don't really mind. So yeah, not 100% sure what's going to happen with it, but there's two paths that I could go down. I could either drop the streaming and just focus on the main content for the channel, which I may have to do for a little while anyway, or alternatively, I've got some ideas on how to shake things up the formula for the live streaming a little bit, and I would love your opinions on this, because what I think I set out to do and the way I've implemented it don't quite line up. Because what these live streamers are always meant to be about is looking for those lesser known games, spinning a wheel and seeing whatever the hell comes up. But then we get into these things like Komorebi, where we do 7 streams of the same game in a row because we want to see it through and we want to finish the story. So what I've been doing in the past is I've been pulling together a list of all the games, putting them into a website, spinning a wheel, seeing what 4 come up, putting them onto the YouTube, and people vote for which one they want. I'm actually thinking about scrapping that entirely, and we go into the live stream blind. And as soon as the stream starts, we spin a wheel and we see what we're going to play. Thankfully, internet here is fast enough that most games don't take that long to download, and most of them are fairly small anyway, so it doesn't take long to install it on stream and get it going, right? But that would mean, like, we go into these things completely and utterly blind. So I think that could be quite interesting. And then I think what I'd like to do is implement a system where after, say, 30 minutes of gameplay, we actually hold a vote to decide, do we continue playing, or do we spin the wheel again and move on to another game? I think that would just give like a little bit more engagement between myself and you guys, to be able to say, okay, yeah, we want to continue this, no, let's see something else. It really could be quite fun. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. Cheetahs, what is this game? You weren't here for the other streams of it. What's the story so far? Spider Macho's given you a nice little recap there. Gay furry visual novel is a nice summary. But yeah, think of it more like corporate overlords putting in place social credit system for a gay furry visual novel premise. A lot of stuff to do with like social divide and like the pros and cons of technology and surveillance and things like that. It's actually, while the main characters are all furries and gay romance is definitely one of the main points of the game, it actually is a lot of social commentary that's going on in this more than anything else. Is Epic, yeah, kind of funny. I don't know, these streams are always fun to watch. Hey, I'm glad you think so. It's always an interesting thing for me because it's a bit of balance, because we always get more people that engage with the normal review format content than they do with the live streams anyway. Gray, always enjoy the streams because you think it's because... always enjoy the streams and I think it's because it's the game. Yeah, talking about Komorebi specifically. Epic, you like that a lot. Russian roulette, but Steam games. Yeah, that is basically what I was thinking. Russian roulette style video gaming. I had the idea of calling it the Wheel of Misfortune is probably the right way to go about it. And like part of the reason why I think I want to do that system of being able to potentially spin the wheel more often is there is quite a bit of a backlog of games that people have suggested that I want to try and get to. But when we have ones that take, 7-8 streams to get through, it takes a while to be able to get through that content, right? So that would allow us to move a little bit longer, lets me stay in touch a little bit more about you as the community and what you're wanting to see so that we can keep it going that way. And then I also have ideas for what to do if we run out of content completely from what people have suggested, because there are websites out there which are basically Steam randomizers. You can put in certain filters, so like if you don't want to see, NSFW style games or like specific genres or something like that, and then literally it will spin the wheel for the entire Steam library. And I think that could be quite fun to do at some point as well, because you've got no clue what the hell's going to come up. I'd love your thoughts on that. That's one direction I want to go in, but the main problem is that I simply need the time to be able to invest into the live streams and balance it with everything else. I think, for me personally, that feels like the right direction to take the live streams in, to have something a bit more engaging, a little bit more fun. Other than that, normal channel content is going to be continuing as well. We've got a nice fun video coming out for you guys tomorrow for some nice like retro style gaming. And then I'm actually really excited about the one that's going to be coming out next week, because we're seeing the return of RPG Maker. It's coming back. So I think the one and only time we've seen RPG Maker in the main review series has been for Arcane Rays, which is a video that did pretty darn well. So I'm actually quite excited for the return of RPG Maker to see what that brings. Also because they've done something strangely impressive with this one, and it is not because it's a good game, I'll tell you that now. So yeah, I'm quite hyped for this one. I think it's going to be quite fun. I am still about halfway through getting the script ready for it, but it's looking like it's coming together quite nicely. Alright, I think that is enough of a preamble. We've chatted for a while. I hope you guys are doing well, and I think it's time that we get into the game. Don't you reckon? Alright. Let's kill the music. Actually, we'll just taper down the music. We'll let it go down. We'll let it go down. Okay. Nice. Okay, let's jump across. Now, I also want your feedback, because I made a little tweak to the overlay for the main scene here. I'm just going to shift the chat across a little further to the left. That'll work. Just want to, like, the little box around the webcam here. Does that work? Does that look good? Is it okay? I don't know. I was wanting to try something a little bit different, just to kind of, I guess, highlight it a little bit and see how it looks. Don't know if that's better or worse than having no frame at all. If you guys hate it, I can disable it. It's fine. We'll go from there. All right, let's bring the volume back up. And if I remember correctly, we need the volume all the way up for this one so that you guys can hear the voices. Okay. Because, hearing voices is a sign of sanity or something like that, I think. Ooh, hang on, there we go. Good, my chat is working, but it's in the wrong position. Sorry, bear with one sec, guys. Just need to move where it is. Where's the settings for this? Gone. There's the overlay. No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted positioning mode. Cool, where the hell did that just go? No? Okay. Positioning mode doesn't want to work. Love that. Can't move my bloody overlay. As soon as I try, it just disappears. What the hell's going on? There's the overlay. I want positioning mode. Nope. Doesn't want to do it. Alright, cool. It's just going to be where it is. Fine. Actually, no, maybe I have to do it this way. Enable toggle positioning. Yes, there we go. Now I can move it. Silly overlay, not wanting to do what it should do. Okay, done. What the hell? That didn't... Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, we got there. Okay, yeah, don't forget Arcane Rays is similar to Witcher 3. Yeah. Funnily enough, it is, yeah. Didn't RPG Maker game? Yes, Arcane Raise was basically just an asset flip. That's absolutely what it was. She Komorebi to raise my social credits. Oh wow, that Komorebi sounds so bad. It really does. It's not bad, it's unusual to be fair. You look like you're a Windows pop-up. I look like a Windows pop-up. I was going for like a minimalistic look, something that's like, you know, not too in your face or busy or animated or anything like that. But being a Windows pop-up, I think, is a vibe that I'm here for. I might have to see if I can find like a custom one that makes it look like Windows XP or something like that, because that just sounds amazing. And I am 100% here for that. Oh dear. Alright, where are we? Let's get into things. Spider Mantra, is this why I haven't streamed in a while? Yeah, it was simply because I couldn't get the chat to be in the right place. That was like stopping me from doing absolutely anything. Nah, I was away on holiday for a couple of weeks. Hey, cool, thanks for stopping by. See you around. Oh, you're gonna go play some golf with the boys. Nice. If you guys are still playing later, I might join in if I've got some time. Budget Airlines, you have an even better idea. You just made the iced tea now and then put it in the fridge for later. That is a fantastic idea. That's the best way to go about it. Then you've got it prepped for when you want it. Epic will be back if you plan to stream for a few hours. How have you got to get stagehand? Yeah, good luck with the stagehand's duties. Hope it goes well. Hopefully no one gets hurt or injured or anything like that. Hopefully it's a nice, smooth performance and everyone has a good time. I have no idea how long we'll be streaming for because we're going to go until we finish this game. Cheatest, how goes your quest to play every single game on Steam thus far? Actually going fairly strong. We're coming up to episode 64. We've played more games than that because some episodes feature multiple. We've managed to work our way through the entire punctuation section, and we're now in the section of games beginning with the number 1. So we've actually gone through a fairly decent chunk of it. It's going to take us the better part of a year to get through games starting with the number 1 though, although the number of games completed is about to skyrocket in the next few months, because we are going to have to go through the 100 Hidden X series. All of those are going to get compiled into like a single video. We'll probably group them by developer or publisher or something like that. But it means that we're going to go from like around 70 games completed to closer to 100 and something, I believe. It's going to be, yeah, a bit of a jump. Epoli, Graeldon, you've always wondered about this. If you are, for example, reviewing games that start with B, but there is a new game released, for example, with the letter A, will you just go back to play it, or what? Good question. So, at this point in time, I am not able to go backwards and revisit games that come out in a section that I have previously covered. So, for example, if a new game comes out in the punctuation section, of which I think there have been 2 or 3 games that actually have already done that, I am not going to be going back to review them yet. My intention is that if I'm ever able to go full-time with YouTube, because, you know, it really takes off and it's able to replace my day job, which is going to be a challenge for sure. If it gets to that point, going full-time would mean that I'm able to produce more games, more videos per week. If I'm able to do that, my first intention is to go back and pick up any games that I've missed, and then second to that is to turn the games from these live streams into side quest videos. Main problem is just trying to get time to do that. That's always going to be the biggest hurdle, because at the moment I'm still working full-time, you know, doing 40 plus hours a week. That kind of impacts my ability to do too much more outside of the regular weekly review videos. Budget Airlines, maybe you should put it in the fridge so it's even colder when you get back. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, I mean, just the fridge, not the freezer. It's probably the best way to do it. Gray, today's your dad's birthday, apparently. You got peach iced tea now. I'm gonna say happy birthday to your dad. Probably, like, maybe drop the apparently off there. I mean, you should probably know if it is or isn't, right? It's your dad. Probably worth finding out if it is actually his birthday or not. Not Tony, you were playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and an NPC told you to turn the game console off. Yeah, no, you should definitely do that. Like, if an NPC in Metal Gear Solid tells you to turn the console off, why not? That sounds totally reasonable to me. Yeah, no worries, Polly. Glad that answer makes sense to you. And budget airlines. Oh, you meant the freezer. Yeah, don't put it in the freezer. Terrible idea. All right, let's get into this. So as you can see here, this was basically the final section. This was like Act 4. We've already gone through all 6 plot points up the top. So we're basically now onto the bridging part. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a finale section after this, or if this bridging section is basically the conclusion. So this is going to be interesting. Oh, last question before we go. Okay, what has been your favorite game so far that you've played in your Steam series? Ooh, that's a tough one. I did put together a top 5/bottom 5 video at the end of last year. If you want to check that out, you can kind of see my thoughts on what the best and worst in the series have been so far. I would say that games like Sprout are always what comes to mind in terms of being an enjoyable experience. I had a pretty good time with the Dot Hack series as well, but you know, that's a higher profile game, so you kind of expect that. Interestingly enough, there really hasn't been much so far this year that's coming to mind that I've really enjoyed so far. Let me have a quick look at what games we have experienced. I mean, we kicked off the year with To Do Today, which was pretty decent actually, especially as far as like interactive visual novels go. I had an okay time with that one. Then we had a bunch of rubbish. 0 Degrees North, 0 Degrees West was definitely an interesting game, but it's not one that I would typically go out of my way to play. I did have some fun with it, but it's nothing that I would like be, you know, always ranting and raving about. It was definitely an experience which I think more people should have a look at. And then after that, I would actually say, funnily enough, One to Blame is up there in terms of games that I've enjoyed so far this year. But that's less because it was a good game and more because I had fun engaging with all of the community playing that game together. So yeah, that one's probably up there in terms of fun that I've had so far. Is it a brilliant game? Yeah, it's pretty flawed. Pretty flawed. Okay, and Spider, what was your favorite game that you've played for the side quest series? Ooh, let me just double check, because my memory's not so great on these ones. Oh, yeah, no, actually, that's easy. Void Stranger. 100% Void Stranger. That game is just something else, and more people need to play that one. I did have some fun with games like the Leaf Blower Man. That one was like a pleasant surprise. Also had some good fun with Curse Crackers as well. That was pretty solid. Red Tether was good, but definitely had a couple of bugs in it. It was just kind of a solid but short first-person experience. I'm still curious to see what they do with the sequel for Red Tether. I think that could turn into something good. There's definitely been, I would say, more good games that have come up on the Side Quest Live series than have on Steam Sequence. But that's because these are a little bit more handpicked by you guys in the community. So thank you for giving me something good to play. You've been treating me well. You've been treating me well. All right, let's get into this.
Experience Culmination Fragment. Hermes Day.
Hermes Day. Yeah, Culmination Fragment definitely indicates that this is like the end. Let's see what happens. Oh, I got an achievement just for clicking that button. Go me. Initiate Culmination Fragment Hermes Day. Ooh. Oh, I was not expecting that. Thank you for choosing our future. I love what it's doing there with like just shaking up our perception of reality just a little bit. It's a really nice plot point. I don't think they've capitalized on it as well as they could have, but it's a good plot point. And the thing that they're doing with having our actions, what we say, what we do, being manipulated by some unseen force that's like technology related, does remind me a lot of Deus Ex Human Revolution, I think it was. The first of like the reboot of the Deus Ex series. because that had the section in it where if you choose to take like the chip upgrade, upgrade your software, later on they use that against you to basically hack and deactivate part of your system and makes a boss fight much, much harder. Like, it reminds me of that in a really interesting way. I think it was a Human Revolution? Or was that the second one? I'm sure someone will remind me. Alright. My eyes slowly open, wrought with the temptation of closing them just a little longer. They flutter, almost in a state of conflict. If I slept, I wouldn't have to leave. If I slept, I wouldn't have to face whatever came next. That was the frightening part. We had no idea what was going to happen. Isaac, faced with the fact that he's meant to change the world, and all of us, now his willing accomplices, opposing Argus. How could you defeat a foe that holds the world in their hands? Was it even possible to loosen the grip that they had on us? I guess I'd never find out unless I got up. I rise to my knees, yawning. I must have fallen asleep on the floor. Jeez, why the hell did you fall asleep there? What were we doing last night? My diary rests beside me. One final entry after the stroke of midnight. One final entry greeting the arrival of Hermes Day. Light strikes through the window with beams made more prominent by dust in the air. Isaac must have requested that nobody clean this room for our privacy. Handprints still mark the window, almost as if it were a longing gesture. Appreciating the beauty of the sight before us, yet also fighting to change it. This conflict was present in all of our minds, only fought by our immeasurable resolve. Is this how people felt on the morning of an important day? I mean, probably not quite as poetic as this. Yeah, kinda. Well, not any important day. Perhaps the most important day of their lives. The temptation to remain in this moment of solace forever is almost too much to bear. I rise to my feet. My earlier yawn interrupts the rest of my friends. The glances we exchange are ones of somber understanding, a quiet reminder that we all shoulder the same weight. Our role may not be as important as Isaac's, but it's clear that he can't do this without us. Flattering thought that my very presence can instill in him the might he needs. That's because Delta, the main character, does nothing more than just be there. You have nothing more to offer than your presence. Sorry, I'm still on about the fact that Delta as a character is completely and utterly useless. The only thing they do is exist. Good lord. Good lord. Carosa, you actually tried Void Stranger from watching the stream. The game needs more attention. I 1000% agree. Void Stranger is, without a doubt, an actual hidden gem. Not Tony, not gonna lie, this is one of the easiest games that uses RPG Maker to beat, not even any combat. Just depends on how resilient you are with reading narratives and pressing buttons on a keyboard, I guess. If we pulled this off, everything would be better for the entire world. It's almost like the option to fail was taken away from us. In the face of what was on the line, we didn't have any choice but to win. I'm reminded of that conversation Isaac and Dante had under the stars. Back before we knew that he worked for Cypher. Back before I knew he was Hermes. I gulp, simply realizing that I have no choice but to push forward. I still can't handle reading I gulp out loud as a sentence. Like, I would never write that into a sentence. Glances are exchanged once more, as if we're all scared to break the silence. Isaac, Dante, Clace, Chiron, Taylor. Taylor? Wait, where's Taylor? Isaac shoots up to his feet, the concern worn clear on his face.
Taylor?
Yeah, where the hell did Taylor go? He was here with us before. Oh no. Can you don't? Hey, nice to see you, Can you don't? Or Hunter L. There's a notable part of Void Stranger that's harder than the rest of the game, explicitly because it's not a puzzle. I think I still didn't even get to the true ending of Void Stranger. In fact, I know I didn't, because there was an entire hard mode that I didn't beat. Like, the number of layers in Void Stranger for you to kind of work your way through, solving like one meta puzzle at a time, is just wild. We all look at each other, understanding every single implication.
Taylor!
Okay, hang on. So if Taylor has gone missing, if Taylor is actually missing and not just like hiding under the covers somewhere or in the freaking bathroom, how the hell did that happen? Because he was here in the room with us, presumably, when we went to sleep. We made an agreement that we wouldn't leave each other's, like, sight, basically. We were going everywhere together just in case something like this actually happened. So, what? Someone came in and kidnapped Taylor in the middle of the night? He's not here. There was nowhere for him to be. The room was small and the bathroom door was wide open. Okay. He left.
Where is he? What happened?
He's gone downstairs to get breakfast. Didn't you realize the breakfast buffet closes at like 9 a.m. here? Yeah, they don't do extended brunch, so considering it's 9:30 already, you guys missed out.
Oh, I didn't mean to fall asleep. I was supposed to stay up and keep watch.
It's not your fault, Isaac. You gave us all the option to leave, remember?
But...
Hey, check the group chat.
We all take out our phones. Taylor's last message in our group chat simply reads, "I'm sorry." Oh, Taylor, what have you done? Then there's a notification that he's left the group chat. Ooh, Taylor's betrayed us. Oh no.
He left?
Apparently he did.
why?
Cold feet?
I can tell that Isaac is terrified. He looks at all of us with pure desperation. Yeah, because if this has actually happened, all his plans could absolutely fail at this point. Another glance is exchanged. This time, I can sense the temptation in everyone else. The temptation to leave like Taylor did. He was the first, thinking others might follow.
Please? I need you by my side. I don't know if I can do this alone.
This was clearly a test of our dedication. Accepting the task, Chiron is the first to step forward.
I have your back, Isaac. I owe you almost everything after all.
I also appreciate that at this point there's like no background music or anything to let the focus really be on this conversation between the characters and kind of like emphasize the importance of it. Really goes to show that you don't have to have like amazing emotional music or anything to allow the plot to have the impact that you want it to. Isaac smiles.
I made a promise that I'd join your pact.
Until the end, right?
Clace nods as they both step forward. Then, all eyes are on me. I couldn't exactly ditch Isaac now either, especially after he told me his biggest secret. I step forward. My stance is clear without saying a single word.
Good.
Cool. Once again, Delta having zero action. Oh no. Isaac tilts his head towards the hotel room door.
Then let's get to the lobby and see if we can find Taylor. It might not be too late to change his mind.
I'm gonna hope that he's just failed and isn't actively betraying us, because that would be pretty disastrous. We all nod and leave the room. It dawns on me that this is probably the last time I'll see this room. The farther I get from the window, the harder it is to see the handprints on it. I mean, realistically, it's probably the last time you'll see this hotel room anyway, because it's a hotel. The odds of you getting the same room twice are kind of low. Just saying. Before we exit the room, it's almost like our mark on it has disappeared. Part of me wonders if we'll ever be able to go back to Isaac's house, and the rest of me wonders if Taylor is safe, or perhaps already in the hands of Argus. Now that is an appropriate noise. That is like the one time that the boom is actually appropriate. Game, we okay? Yep, we good. Okay, now we got a little bit of music. I wonder if Delta's character model is just a generic NPC with a camera for a head. You're giving him far too much credit. He's just a camera. That's not even a generic NPC model. Can't go that far. Actually, no, there must be, because people have commented on Delta's fantastic, handsome, good looks. Alright. As soon as we reached the lobby, we remained close to one another. There was no point in separating now, just in case Argus got Taylor. I only say it like that because all of the other words were too scary to use. Yeah, like betrayal, or Taylor's a fuckface.
Do you see him?
We all look around, but there's so many people here. Isn't the leader of Argus gonna appear in only a few hours? I guess they're waiting until the last possible moment, like always.
I don't.
All of a sudden, blending into a crowd seemed to hurt us more than help us. We had no idea where Taylor was now that he ran off on his own. He said he was sorry, so it does imply that he left voluntarily. Or he might be sorry for betraying us. But almost anything could have happened to him after that. Isaac couldn't guarantee our safety if we didn't stick by his side. Taylor leaving in spite of that sure said a lot about his inner thoughts.
Wait, isn't that one of his friends?
Chiron tilts his head towards a small gathering of people. I recognize them. Those people were at the little room party we had.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on. I'll go talk to them.
Isaac starts walking away, but then turns back around.
Keep your eyes on me, okay? Now's not the time to slip up.
Wonder if people are going to share some thoughts when, Isaac's not within earshot. We all nod and keep watch as he heads towards Taylor's streamer friends. Part of me can't blame him if he chose that group instead of us. They probably engaged in a lot less treason after all. Uh-oh. My eyes are drawn away from Isaac despite his clear request. I can see that Argus agent standing in the crowd. People pass by, obscuring them for a split second at a time. I keep expecting them to disappear, but they don't. Damn, the one time I can't ask my friends to stop and look. They need to keep their eyes on Isaac. Is this some sort of test? The agent gives me that evil-looking smirk again, and a gulp. They're cradling something in their arm, holding it close to their chest. Wait. I'd recognize that sight anywhere. It's my file. Everything my counselor wrote about me. Why would they have that? Why would they want that? There's nothing of value in there. In fact, it's mostly lies. I never told my counselor what me and my friends were actually up to.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Good time to come back.
What happened?
We are still looking at the agent.
Apparently, they saw him a few hours ago. He said something about doing what he had to do.
That's awfully vague.
That doesn't sound good.
Does it even change anything?
That's our friend, Chiron.
Yeah, but we still have a job to do.
Also, I'm hoping the volume for the voice actors is loud enough for all of you. Let me know if I need to try and bump it up a little more.
He's right.
Which one of us?
Chiron.
Dante scoffs.
I hate this.
The clock is ticking. We need to go, Taylor or not.
Are you sure?
Sure that we have no other option? Yeah. This isn't how I wanted it to play out, though.
Do you want to try calling him?
Maybe when we're on the road. Come on. We can't afford to waste any time.
Yeah, Spider. Therapist wasn't Hermes, but there's still... Because there was two. There was Hermes and... it's gone from my mind. There was another person who was like the mastermind. Because it was Hermes and someone else. So there's still a chance that the therapist is involved, but might be on Argus's side rather than on the side of the Zeros. Isaac starts to walk away, and we all follow in his tracks. Taylor ditched us, saying he was doing what he had to do. The fact that he went right to his other friends is pretty telling. I guess he just wanted to back out before he got in too deep. If this went wrong, it would completely destroy his career and public image. We can't really blame him for valuing the comfort of his regular life. As we head to Isaac's car, I contemplate the life I'm about to leave behind. Honestly, whether we win or lose, things would never be the same. We just need to play this smart and safe. Oh wow, the plot is like moving now. Okay. It's only taken like almost 30 hours. Jeez. Ooh, back with the starting scene from the game. Everything's happening a mile a minute. I can tell we're all panicking except for Isaac. He knows the plan. But for some reason he's yet to share it with all of us. Perhaps he thinks that Argus could be listening in? I guess it makes sense not to say too much out loud. Wouldn't want to get docked for distracted driving anyway. Look out the window and I'm reminded of the day I arrived, because this is the same scene we saw on the day that we arrived. Oh, how different things were. How different things could have gone. It's almost like I'm leaving another life behind, the second one in just a few short weeks. This life was better than the one I left behind though. I can only hope that the same applies to whatever happens next. If it went well enough, we could even be lauded as heroes. Gotta say, I like the sound of that.
Wow.
Yeah, and when they write people's, biographies, you're gonna be left out of it because you did nothing.
Huh?
The feeling of dread in the air. It's so thick I could cut it with a knife.
No, that's just the sexual tension.
I could open up a window.
The attempt at a joke is admirable in the face of such danger, but it's also likely a product of denial as we get closer to our objective. Either way, it was enough to lighten the air and deliver some optimism.
So, you want to tell us your plan?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you were supposed to tell us by now.
I changed my mind.
Of course you did.
Huh?
I have no idea who's listening in on us. We shouldn't risk anything, especially so close to the end.
So we're just supposed to follow you into certain danger.
Yes.
Basically.
Dante groans.
Besides, it's nothing you haven't seen before.
Actually, that annoys me. Like, I know it's pedantic and I've gone on about some of this stuff before, but the fact that they put the line Dante groans for the player just as like additional flavor text, they could have just had Dante groan. They have the voice actor. They could have done that. Like, it's well within their power.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I trust him, so you should too.
Well, it's got me this far.
Right, so take a sip. I'm curious how that statement got Dante to back down. It's nothing we haven't seen before? What does that mean? I'm reminded of how Isaac has been messing with tech ever since I arrived. Silencing the system in his home and unlocking doors at will. There was even the cameras in the house offering a trick live feed to his workshop. Has he been using his house as a testing ground for all of this? Suddenly it all makes perfect sense. Bend the rules without breaking them, he's always said. That and all buildings operate on the same standards enforced by Argus. It stands to reason that hacks in his home would apply to any other building. Was Isaac planning to assault Argus digitally? Messing with their security and opening doors we didn't have access to? It would certainly aid him in his plan to create memories that compromise Argus, but it basically breaks the #1 rule in our entire society. Or at least the rule we were taught was the most important. In hindsight, a lot of rules exist only to solidify and maintain Argus's reign. What we're doing might be for the greater good, but it's still dangerous. Tools like these, placed in the wrong hands, could cause irreparable damage. I can only hope that Isaac never lets them see the light of day. Stuff that can endanger us and others should be destroyed after today.
You know, I think I want to go to the beach.
Huh?
You know, after all this is over.
It's not anime without a beach episode.
I've never really been to one before. Or learned how to swim, for that matter.
Ooh, as an Australian, let me give you some advice. If you don't know how to swim, you can go to the beach. Just don't go in the water. Just don't. It's a stupid idea, and that's how you will literally get yourself killed, or worse, get someone else killed who's trying to save you. It is absolute common sense. Hopefully all of you know 100% what I'm talking about. Don't go in the water if you don't know how to swim. Beaches are lovely. Beaches are dangerous. Don't do it. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
I could teach you pretty easily. There's a pool in the rec center near my library.
Dante has the right idea.
Funny how you call it your library.
Hey, I made my mark.
As a wolf, making your mark has certain implications.
I'm actually thinking about giving back to them one day.
They basically made you who you are.
I'd like to think my talent has something to do with it, but yeah. It's looking pretty run down lately. Could definitely use some aid.
Alright, so Dante maybe becomes like a patron of the arts in the future?
Kinda poetic when you think about it. Maybe they'd let Chiron stay there in exchange.
Right. Yeah, I guess I do need a house.
And yeah, Tony, you're absolutely right. They're raiding a high-security facility and they're going in completely empty-handed. It's basically the tech bro being like, don't worry guys, I got this. I can hack it. It's fine.
Don't you play guitar?
I've been known to try.
You could always come on tour with me. I'll just tell them I want to do more tracks with guitar.
Wait, really?
What? No fair! I want to go on tour too!
Let's make it out of this first, alright? Then we'll be able to do whatever we want.
It's clear that everyone is conjuring up fantasies to cope. If we wanted to make them a reality, we'd have no choice but to succeed. Even if the fantasy seemed a little uncharacteristic, it was still something to hold on to. When this blows over, I doubt he'd be going on tour with Clace. He'd likely reunite with his colony friends and show them the city. Start to think about what I'd like to do. But then I realize I have no free will of my own, and the car comes to a stop. It was a bit sudden, and I'm jerked forward, ending my daydreams. Look out the window and see a massive, majestic building. It towers almost into the heavens. It's really beautiful. But I also know that this is Argus HQ. We're finally here. Isaac pulls into a parking spot and takes a deep breath.
We're here.
He looks at each one of us with hesitance on his face.
Are you all ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Same.
That building looks so cool.
Spider, you actually learned how to swim at a beach when you were about 6 years old. I'm glad it worked out for you and nothing went wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, some beaches are safer than others. Depends on where in the world you are. But yeah, the number of people who get themselves into situations they can't get out of, especially at beaches in Australia, is absolutely wild. I don't know if it's actually really a thing that happens at other beaches in the world, but if you haven't heard about it, you just have to look up shows like Bondi Rescue, and yeah, of course they show the things that go wrong, but they'll give you a good example. Australian beaches, and again, I don't know if this is true elsewhere in the world as well, but they have a phenomenon called a rip, which is basically fast flowing water that's going back out into the ocean that you can get caught in. And if you don't know how to handle them, you can basically end up so far away from the beach that you can't swim back. Like, it's a lot of people die that way, and it's quite scary. Not Tony, do they even know how to handle a gun or have any fighting styles? I'm going to say absolutely not. None of them, except maybe Chiron, know how to fight, because we're literally dealing with a pop idol, an author, a tech bro, and an outcast, and a complete and utter blank slate. So yeah, no, probably not. However, given that this is built in RPG Maker, it would be hilarious if in the final scene it does go into like a side profile Final Fantasy style turn-based combat where you get to play as the characters. That would be absolutely amazing. Ooh, Spider, you did get caught in once actually. That is actually terrifying, and I'm glad that you're okay. It sounds like you kind of knew what to do in that situation, so I'm glad that you managed to come out the other side all right. But yeah, okay, yeah, rip currents are a universal phenomenon. Like, it makes sense to me. It's just a matter of like how the water works. It doesn't make sense that it would only be in Australia, but I think it also does depend on the kind of beach. Sandy beach is probably more likely to have them than, an actual like stone beach or something like that you see in the UK. So, I think it's all relative. And maybe Delta knows CQC? What's CQC? I feel like I should know that. CQC. Nah, you have to let me know. It's not coming to mind. He bores them to... Boring them to death is more likely. Your mum tried to help you but got stuck too, but then some surfers appeared and saved us. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you haven't got the right people around to help you, or you don't know how to deal with it, you can get put in like a really nasty situation because of a rip. It is 100% scary, and it's why like I never go properly out into the water at the beach. Close quarters combat, gotcha. That makes sense. I doubt it though. I don't think Delta knows much of anything. I give Isaac a nod and he takes out his phone. He's lost in it for a few moments, clearly doing some preparation. Whatever he has planned, his phone definitely seems essential. He's gonna live stream the whole thing and put it up on TikTok later.
Alright. It's time to finish this.
With a little smirk, we all get out of the car.
Just follow my lead, okay? I have everything planned. Down to a science.
Without another word, he starts to lead us into the building. It seems completely dead and silent. Almost nobody's around. By now, almost the entire world would have their eyes on the town square. When we enter the building, I'm immediately taken aback by a boom. Yeah, lake beaches wouldn't have rips. The way the tides and things work there are very different to an actual ocean beach. It's the most beautiful place I've seen in my life. So, I would say you've not had enough life experience if you think the interior of a building is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but maybe that's just me. It almost resembles Isaac's store, but on a much grander scale. Whoever built this place probably had no limits on their budget. We stick close to Isaac, who's tapping away at his phone. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it's clearly important. He's probably hacking cameras or some shit.
Isaac, are you sure we should be here?
I'm sure Isaac can be here, the rest of you not so much. Dante tilts his head up towards a bunch of cameras watching the atrium. If anyone was looking, they'd know that Isaac didn't come alone. A group coming to an interview? Definitely suspicious.
Yeah, of course.
The cameras are on us. That's pretty incriminating.
Trust me, you're fine.
Yep, he's already hacked the cameras. He tilts his phone towards us so we can all take a look.
See? I'm here all by myself.
Wait, what?
Second interview, remember? I'm feeding them a recording of the first one. If they're watching, they have no idea you're here.
Well, they definitely know you brought us in.
Kyron looks over at the reception desk. Someone is behind it, typing away at a computer. Actually, that was the only person in the entire atrium. Makes sense. Everyone was probably in the town square. That or in their office glued to their phone or TV. Nobody wanted to miss what would happen. And that worked out in our benefit. Great thinking, Isaac.
Hold on. I'll take care of them.
Use less ominous wording, maybe?
Yeah, I'm with Dante on that one.
I'll make sure they don't get in our way.
That's not any better.
That was a minimal improvement.
Better than nothing, though, eh?
He smirks and starts to walk towards the desk. I want to watch him, but I'm distracted for a couple of moments. This atrium is so amazing. The sunroof really sells it, though. Those beams of light piercing through the trees. It's clear that this design choice was intentional. Beams of light, Komorebi. But it did have a deeper did it have a deeper meaning of any sort? To me, it almost screams Argus, home of Komorebi. Definitely adds to the conspiracy theory that they were the cause of the visions. It couldn't be true, though. Right now, even the nostalgia tech is just a concept. They could have never engineered Komorebi a century ago. Of course, Komorebi defies all logical explanation. The future is impacting the way almost everybody lives in the present. Normally, cause and effect would dictate that it's the other way around, but things don't seem to work like that in this world. It's possible that the true cause of Komorebi hasn't even happened yet. As confusing as that is, it definitely makes sense. I remember what we talked about in the hotel room. As you get older, your Komorebi is destined to become a vision of the past. Well, not the past, but an alternate one. Interesting to think about. Part of me wonders if this nostalgia technology has anything to do with it. A technology dedicated to cracking open the past and allowing interaction. There's no way that could go wrong. Right? I decide to watch Isaac instead of... That's not how that sentence is meant to go. I decide to watch Isaac instead of losing myself in thought. He's engaged in what appears to be a friendly conversation with the receptionist. I have no idea what they're talking about, but everything seems to be going fine. It's a little easier to breathe too, knowing that those cameras aren't capturing me. A little ironic in the face of some of my theories, but comfort is still comfort. I see the receptionist stand up from their desk and go into a room behind them. Isaac then turns and waves at us before pressing a button on his phone. The door immediately shuts and we hear a locking noise echo through the atrium. He walks back to us and we hear the receptionist bang on the door trying to get out.
Like I said, I could technically make it work on any door.
Amazing. So he just locked the receptionist. Fantastic. Fantastic. Where did I get up to with the chat there? Let me catch up here. The noise is always surprising. Yeah, it is. They have whirlpools. Once you go in, you won't come out. I think you're talking about the lakes there. I've never actually seen one in real life. Like, the idea of whirlpools always feels like something that's just like a fantasy concept. But no, it's a real thing. I just haven't experienced it myself yet. Gray, you haven't seen the ocean very many times in your life. Mostly have experience with lakes. Yeah, really everyone's going to have a different experience with that. It just depends on where you have the luck of growing up, I guess. I was fortunate enough to be within easy driving distance of a beach. So I've known more beaches than I've known lakes. Growing up in Australia, it tends to work that way. You don't think finding architecture more beautiful than nature is too out there? Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you've grown up in a city and you don't have any kind of nature that's accessible, then yeah, I can appreciate how you might find something like this to be potentially the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen so far. This atrium's an architect's wet dream and an engineer's worst nightmare. I have to agree with that, yeah.
Isaac, are you stupid? Let them out.
I think that's the first time I've seen Dante with that expression on his face. And now we get some sinister music start.
After we're done. We can't risk anything, Dante. Follow me. We need to keep this moving.
They're safe in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's 100% sealed. It's not going to be like they're running out of oxygen or anything.
Yeah, it's just a break room. Dante is overreacting.
Hardly. It was against their will.
They have food, and they can still watch the town square. Every TV in this building is going to be streaming it soon.
Isaac shrugs.
What did you expect me to do once we were in here? Ask them to march me down to the server room?
Dante shrugs, admitting defeat.
So that's where we're going, I guess.
Well, yeah, where else would we be going?
That's the goal. But first, I need to get back to that computer.
Isaac runs back over to the reception desk and we follow him. He climbs over the counter and jumps to the other side. Taking a cord out of his pocket, he plugs his phone into the PC. Isaac, what are you doing?
Need to plant a few seeds.
Gotta say, I'm pretty lost here.
But you're safe, right?
I think so?
You'd think right.
Isaac starts typing. It's an impressive display of speed. Hacker mode engaged. The receptionist is still banging on the door, begging for us to let them out.
Please remain calm. You're actually more safe in that room, okay?
What the hell are you doing next? The banging stops for a moment.
Nobody is getting hurt today, all right? That door is set to a timer. It'll unlock in 30 minutes. Just relax and watch the broadcast of the town square.
Okay, the banging stops altogether.
Okay, but what seeds are you planting?
I need to give us all admin access. The server room is deep underground and super classified.
Here's the thing though, what's gonna stop that poor receptionist from getting on their phone and contacting someone else to let them know of the fuckery that's going on? Like, it's definitely plausible, unless Isaac somehow went to the lengths of making sure that there was also no other usable tech in the break room. I mean, it's a break room, there's gonna be staff bags and belongings and things there, like, yeah, not a good move. Dante sighs and holds out his phone.
Fine, but make it quick.
Oh, I don't need your phone.
Huh? Why not?
You've given it to me plenty of times.
Oh god, he's already done it, hasn't he? He presses the enter key on the keyboard and then unplugs his phone. Jumping back over the desk, he smiles at us like he's accomplished an impossible task. A moment later, all of our phones go off. I take mine out and
What
look
was
at
that?
it.
We should all be able to take the elevator down now. But we still need to take care of the other employees.
What did Isaac say to Dante? You've given it to me plenty of times? Don't take that one out of context. Whatever he did, apparently he set it up a while ago. But my phone went off as well. Wait. When I visited you at work...
Yep. Pretty good excuse, huh? Had to leave my lunch at home on purpose, though.
You prepared all of our phones for this?
Saves me time from doing it now. Especially since we're gonna be on the clock.
30 minutes,
For the
right?
receptionist, yeah. But there's more to come.
He presses a button on his phone and suddenly the atrium is dark. Isaac must have killed the power. The sunroof only slightly illuminates my surroundings. But a moment later, everything turns back on. What was that?
Isaac,
He's immediately cut off as an alarm starts blaring. My heart basically stops. Did we trigger some sort of security? This is it, isn't it? This is where we get caught and locked up. An announcement comes over the loudspeakers. It's telling everyone that the building is compromised and they should seek out a safe room. It repeats this over and over as I start to see people run around. Suddenly, the atrium is bursting with activity.
I, probably should have mentioned that this was part of my plan.
You think? He laughs like it was funny. His confidence is infectious, I'll give him that much.
Here, follow me. It's time to blend in for a little bit.
Yes, us with our neon-colored hair will just blend in. Ooh, I think it's one of the first times that the music has carried over into the next scene. Interesting. Alright, we are right into Argus headquarters now. We follow Isaac deeper into the heart of Argus. Everyone around us was panicking, mentioning how Cypher is attacking. But I suppose we look unassuming since we blend in with minimal effort. Place is acting like he's scared, or at least I think he's acting. Either way, it helps us to match the others as Dante attempts to comfort him. I regret getting him involved in all of this. Some hiatus, huh? The voice on the speakers is telling everyone to get to the designated safe room. No, it makes sense. Isaac's done this to kind of get everyone else out of the way. I can see where everyone's running. A room on the left sticks out like a sore thumb. It's clearly their destination as they pile inside one by one. Their destination, but not ours. Isaac sticks out his arm, stopping us in our tracks. The few remaining people behind us rush forward and enter the room. Isaac looks back in the direction we came from. No one else is coming. That must have been all of them. And for some reason, I expected more people to be in this building.
Hold on. Just a few more seconds.
He lowers his arm and we all look at each other. Like he said, a few seconds later, the voice on the speakers stops. The door to the safe room shuts and locks, trapping them all inside.
Perfect.
He points to the elevator at the end of the hall.
That'll take us to the server room.
wait, how'd you do that? You didn't even touch your phone.
Oh, that wasn't me. I rewrote that code, though, and used it on the receptionist. These doors should open in 30 minutes as well.
He starts walking towards the elevator and we follow him.
Notice how the alarm stopped, too? I repurposed that to mod our system back at home.
He presses a button on the elevator.
This is stuff that keeps the employees safe in case of an intruder. It guides them to a safe room and locks them in until it's safe.
And that was all the employees?
Should be.
Not even close.
Oh.
All the hallways shared the same design. Everyone just ran to the nearest haven they could find.
The elevator door opens.
The elevator will sense that there's 5 people inside. We'll need to scan our phones in order to go down.
I find it curious that Argus headquarters was set up with safe rooms for exactly this. It's like they were expecting the possibility of this level of attack. Now, I have not had enough time or experience in the corporate world to know if this is a normal thing for massive corporations, but it feels unusual to me. We all enter and scan our phones one by one. I'm really impressed with how well Isaac has thought this all out. What could easily go wrong has seemed like smooth sailing so far. They've definitely given this some like Ocean's 11's kind of vibe to it. I say so far because I have no idea what waits for us below. In fact, I had no idea what Isaac was going to do once we were there. It doesn't matter though, I'm sure it's good and he's bound to succeed. His entire life has been centered around modding Argus tech, especially security, opening and closing doors, locking them, triggering alarms. was second nature to him. It makes perfect sense that his mastery and training have all led to this. It was his calling. Specifically his, though. I think back to what we talked about in the hotel room. Creating memories that could harm Argus in the future while we're in their HQ. If we were ever going to come in handy, we'd be down in the server room. We'd also create memories that corroborated his own. Capturing him wouldn't be good enough. They'd have to come for all of us. We could hold these memories as ransom in case we're ever in danger. He couldn't have known about this all along, right? I only told him my theory the other day, after all. Either way, one fact becomes very clear. There's nothing more powerful than a memory. As the elevator begins its descent, I wonder what memories we're about to create. Moving on to the next scene. Yeah, not Tony. There's no security, emergency exits, armory, or lockdowns. That's a good point. Like, there's no armed personnel or security guards or anything here that would have been assisting in this kind of emergency. I mean, maybe there normally are, but they're all at the town square for that event to protect the Argus CEO that's meant to be there delivering a speech. Then again, you wouldn't spread your forces, like your employees, that thin. You would have left some at the HQ. We're greeted to a sight that's almost nothing like the rest of the building. The server room is almost black, while everything else has a pulsing blue light. It almost looks like the room is breathing, and it's a little unsettling. Especially since I knew I was looking at the system. The shackled AI that governs our points and runs in all of our devices. I remember my counselor telling me the story of how it came to be. Isaac immediately runs over to one of the available computer terminals. They must be hooked up directly to the servers and the AI.
All right, just hang tight. This should only take a few minutes.
What should only take a few minutes?
It's almost like Isaac doesn't even hear him. He immediately takes out that cord and connects his phone to the computer.
All right, then.
Dante scans the room, looking around with piqued curiosity.
At least the lobby didn't look like this. Definitely feels like they were going for ominous.
They totally pulled it off.
Place looks scared. He's looked that way all day, in fact.
So this is the system?
Yeah.
Part of it, yeah. They have an HQ in every major city. They're all linked, though. Spreading them out just saves space.
Our phones all have the same clearance level, right?
Yeah.
Isaac talks like he's super preoccupied, almost not even paying attention. I mean, yeah, he's probably busy doing the stuff that he came here for.
I'm gonna go use that other computer then.
Sure.
Isaac uses another cord to hook a disk drive up to the computer. I look over at Dante, and it looks like he has no idea what he's doing. The difference in skill between the two of them really highlights Isaac's prowess.
25 minutes left, by the way.
Don't worry. We'll have plenty of time left to spare.
Acor, there's probably some hidden... It's probably some hidden and they capture them when they least expect it. Entirely possible. I mean, would you really leave such an important room like this completely unguarded? Yeah. Also asking, important, how many subs have you lost because of the stream? At the start of the stream, we'd already lost 10 subs. So, like, just overnight from having announced the stream, we lost 10 subs as a result. There's really nothing I can do, so I just stand and watch Isaac. I mean, can we just, like, snip that? Because that's pretty much Delta in a nutshell. That is, like, if there was one line that would ever describe the main character, that's it. Clace paces around the room, clearly anxious. Chiron just taps his foot on the floor. We were in the heart of Argus. Isaac had access to everything on that computer. Whatever he was looking at, it was flashing really fast. His eyes are wide open, completely glued to the screen. It was almost like blinking even once would be too much. The flashing was clearly windows being opened and closed in rapid succession. There's no way he could read or even comprehend what was on the screen. Yet the pace of his typing implies he does, and it's a sight to behold. Lucifer, the term shackled AI just screams someone's playing God and someone's gonna pay for that. Absolutely. I think it was mentioned in the story earlier that they created the AI, but either it went rogue or it was too powerful, or like it gains like a level of sentience they didn't want, and that's why they had to shackle it as a result. So it's gonna be interesting to see if like this AI ends up being freed at some point.
One
What are you
sec.
doing? He keeps typing, and I start to feel bad for asking. Whatever he was doing seemed to require the highest levels of concentration. But a moment later, the screen stops flashing and he sighs in relief.
Sorry, I needed to focus. But that's phase 1 out of the way.
He looks at me and smirks. It's a totally uncharacteristic smirk. It looks kind of evil? Or perhaps sly is the right word, like he got away with something. Dante returns from the computer he was using. He looks irate.
Are you gonna tell us what's going on? Starting to get some weird vibes, Isaac.
Gotta say I am too. He unplugs the disk drive and holds it up, waving it at us. It's a gesture that gives it our immediate attention.
Every single classified file in their database, including digitized records of stuff as far back as the 1940s.
Ooh, okay. He places it down on the table. A loud thud echoes through the room.
If they had something to do with Komorebi, it'll be in here. Whether they caused it or used it for their own gain.
He goes back to typing away again.
Isaac, are you serious?
You're really gonna take them down, huh?
Are you sure about this?
Absolutely. But it wasn't really part of my plan. I just couldn't resist the temptation.
And that's where plans go wrong.
I kept seeing one word in particular, though. Back in the 1940s, and even today with the nostalgia tech. Panopticon?
Panopticon. I should know what that word is, but let's just Google that real quick so that we all know what we're talking about. Panopticon. Ooh. Interesting. The Panopticon is a design of institutional building with an inbuilt system of control originated by the English philosopher and social theorist Jeremy Bentham in the 18th century. I knew I'd heard about that somewhere before. Yeah, Jeremy Bentham's perfect prison, the Panopticon. Ah. Oh dear. I mean, that makes sense. They've basically constructed a social prison.
Panopticon? What's that?
Your guess is as good as mine, but it was tied to almost every classified document.
Yep, Argus has been planning this for a long time.
You shouldn't have done that, Isaac. All you're gonna do is put a bigger target on us.
What? It can get bigger?
Ah, yet another line that should not be taken out of context. What? It can get bigger? Oh, gosh. Isaac's eyes grow wider.
I'm not joking.
Neither am I, Dante. I've made up my mind.
You can't have files like that, Isaac. You're gonna get us all killed. I thought you were just here to...
A second later, all the TVs in the room turned static. There wasn't a lot of them, but a couple lined the walls. As if following suit, our phones vibrate shortly after. I take out my phone to look.
What's going on?
I think we all just got the same notification.
Oh, it's the town square.
20 more minutes, Isaac.
Watch the report then. I shouldn't be much longer.
Alright. Yeah, Argus apparently has been in business like for almost 100 years or something like that. There was a furry World War II. Potentially. Not Tony, the Panopticon, that the perfect prison would be structured in such a way that the cells would be open to a central tower. Isaac coming in 3 for 3 with the out-of-pocket shit. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to see it?
I'll hear it.
He keeps typing like his life depends on it. And due to holding such a sensitive drive, maybe it does. Not just for him, but perhaps all of us as well. I turned my attention towards one of the TVs on the wall. So, the leader of Argus was about to appear for the first time, And not only that, but we're on the clock. Time is running out. Just who were they? What were they going to say? My eyes are now glued to the TV, much like Isaac's are to his monitor. We all wait in anticipation as the camera cuts to a shot of the town square. Okay, so we will get to see what this speech is all about, I guess. How are they going to handle this? What's Argus going to say about the fact that they caused people to starve to death? The crowd is buzzing with activity. It's almost too loud. I'm sure everybody's getting out their last-minute theories on what's going to happen. I have no idea what to expect, but I also don't think it matters. It really doesn't. Standing here in the server room with Hermes, I knew that things would go our way. And because of that, I'm certain that all of those zeros would be getting phones. Just like Chiron, they'd no longer have the right of city life taken away from them. I can see a limo being escorted by several larger vehicles. That must be the leader of Argus and their security detail. The noise of the crowd almost immediately dies out. All we can hear right now is the sound of helicopters, like additional security. So I'm being distracted because right out of the corner of my eye, Panda is jumping around playing with something, and it's absolutely adorable. But there is no way for me to get this on camera for all of you. She's found something to bap by the look of it. It makes me wonder if they were expecting violence of any kind. The camera focuses on the vehicles as they all come to a stop. Out of the larger vehicles exit a copious amount of armed guards. No one takes this as a sign of aggression, simply a statement of caution. Tensions were high, and this was the first time the leader would appear in public after all. They open the door to the limo, and someone exits. The entire world must be watching this right now, and I can almost feel it. The collective aura of anticipation is almost as exciting as it is terrifying. They step up to the podium and lean toward a mic. Yeah, it sounds like destroying the servers, Tony, might be actually a smart thing to do. And Lucifer, so we have a pessimist author, an anxious pop star, a hacker with delusions of grandeur, an outcast, and the MC who's just weird. No, the MC who has as much personality as a blank piece of paper. Cameras start flashing at a furious pace as the leader scans the crowd. This exact moment would be forever etched into history books. Now, if the leader of Argus turns out to be like some kind of reference to like freaking Trump or something like that, I'm just gonna lose it. Like, we have the best servers, the best. We're gonna build a firewall to keep them out. Make Toronto great again. Oh.
Greetings, citizens of Toronto, and to everybody watching around the world. Thank you.
Oh, this doesn't look good. Why can't we see them?
I have come here to address the
hi.
tragic events that transpired last week. Our deepest condolences go out to everybody affected by these deaths.
Well, hi. First ever female character? I was literally under the assumption that there were no female characters in this world. No, wait, because they did say it was the mother before. That's right, even in the riots, it was the mum of the child that died. So no, there have always been female characters here, and I'm just an idiot. Oh, no. Okay. Right, so... Yeah, I know, female women in a gay furry visual novel? How dare you? How freaking dare you? I am so upset by this. Goddamn. Alright, let's see what you've got to say. Of course, start with the deepest condolences.
What happened was not our desire or intent. It was completely avoidable and entirely my fault.
Okay, yeah, taking the blame. So they are going to take responsibility.
Loyalty through fear is not how any authority should be held. When I inherited this company, I intended to earn your respect.
Ooh, throwing a theory out here, and I'm just doing this because Spider-Marcher, you said WTF, she looks exactly like the therapist. What if this is the therapist's daughter? And the therapist is the ex-CEO of Argus, who has stepped down, handed the reins of the business to her to his daughter, and then went into a line of therapy as kind of like, you know, semi-retirement. That would be interesting. Huh.
We should work together in pursuit of the greater good. This is the goal that I both strove for and failed to achieve.
She gulps as if she's choosing her next words very carefully.
I stand here, bearing the weight of your derision, but it is a weight that I carry alone. Loyalty through fear creates the byproduct of inaction. It is this very same inaction that caused a grievous loss of life.
Loyalty through fear creates the byproduct of inaction. We don't know if this is fake. It could be a puppet. It could be, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically someone who's just like a front, basically. Not a puppet, but someone who's just there to, you know, for optics, right? Looks better if the CEO is, you know, someone in like a kind of this role than like a balding 70s plus overweight male.
It was clear that many of you were too scared to help out. This fear of Argus actually compounded with our own stance on the Zeros.
Putting a little bit of blame on the general population there. It's clear that many of you were too scared to help out. Jeez, way. Nice way to put it. Yeah, figurehead, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
It was a recipe for disaster, but it is also a recipe for change. And that is where Hermes comes in. Right now, he is standing in our Toronto HQ. It's likely that his hand is hovering over a button.
Ooh, okay, so she does know about Hermes. And she knows where he is and what he wants to do. She knows she's been played, but it sounds like she may also have her own schemes and plans. Well, I guess everyone in the room knows that Isaac is Hermes now. But it's almost like they're too engrossed in the speech to care or even react.
This button will introduce chaos into the order that Argus maintains. However, since this order caused the loss of innocent life, I simply yield.
Ooh, that's clever. Because if she's saying, like, she agrees with these actions and what Isaac is about to do, Hermes is Isaac, Spider-Macho. Absolutely, Hermes is Isaac. We found that out last episode. I think maybe you'd left by the time that reveal came round. But yeah, Hermes is Isaac. Surprise! But actually what she's doing is quite clever because she's now basically saying, yep, understand we made a mistake. I now agree with what Hermes is about to do. And it's kind of clever stance to take.
We recently came to learn the true identity of Hermes. His tests on the system have caused the glitches that plagued us these last few weeks.
Okay, and yep, now putting a little bit of blame on like Hermes' intentions because he's been abusing a system, which has impacted general society in a negative way.
In addition to that, he has also stolen a large amount of Argus drones. I believe his plan is to use these drones to cause a distraction right here. In this momentary confusion, phones will be handed to the Zeros. Phones that, using his tests, will be loaded with new, legitimate identities. This means that the crowd before me is largely made up of agents of Cypher. I have not come here to stop you, no. In fact, I have come here to welcome you.
Just gonna say, the voice actor here is doing a stellar job. There's some real emotion coming through in her voice, like, good on her.
I believe that me and Hermes share the same goal. However, my parents and grandparents certainly differed in their views.
Ah, I'm not like the other people that came before me, despite the fact that I've been, you know, continuing with their legacy, and up until this point have been doing exactly the same things that they were. She's doing a really good job of spinning this. I admire the writing that they've used for this. Well done.
Unfortunately for me, their values course through the inner workings of Argus. As progeny of the founders, I am made to suffer, much like the Zeros, for choices outside of my control.
I'm just like
you. And even worse, against my will. Due to this, I now have the loss of 2 innocent lives on my conscience. This has made me realize that Hermes might be correct.
Yeah, I think she's spinning a lot of this for PR, just to put herself in a more positive light, is really doing the whole, oh no, like I was always trying to push back against the system and always trying to do the right thing. I just, you know, because of the legacy and the other people here, I couldn't make the change that I wanted to, and I realize now that that was wrong for me to just, you know, what's the word for, like, continue with the status quo.
Perhaps it's time to take a step back and let others step forward.
Is she gonna resign?
To give the world to those who will change it every single day, as he said.
Could you imagine if she steps down and now says, Hermes, if you accept, I now make you the new CEO of Argus Corporation? That would be wild.
Because of this, I must circle back to something I said earlier. Hermes is about to introduce chaos into order. So if I could speak directly to him, I'd just say, be certain you're prepared to face the consequences. Not just you, but to the entire world. This is a risky move.
She's trying to put the pressure on Isaac, make him realize the true scope of his actions.
Knowing that, will you still press the button?
Yeah, go on, press the button. After that, the most awkward silence I've never heard overtakes the town square. Maybe it's just me. Is that meant to be the most awkward silence I've ever heard? Either way, it works. People call it poetry. Yeah, kind of don't believe her already. I agree. Imagine Isaac doing some Kingsman stuff with phones. Pretty much. Sounds like an intro to a bunch of dudes with machine guns walk out and mow down the agents of Cypher. Hopefully not. Ah, Puritan, hey, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, this is the one fairy game that I told you about. We're working through it, and we are in the finale. I don't know what any of us expected, but it definitely wasn't that. A full surrender, taking all the responsibility? It's admirable, even if it happens to be some sort of elaborate PR stunt. I mean, what else could she have said once the cameras started rolling? All of those eyes on you with the expectation to act a certain way. Now she knows how everybody feels under Argus's rule. As if following her direction, we all look at Isaac. Would he press that button? Hi, Panda. Hello. Here we go. Oh, kitty for the camera. Hi. Yeah? This is what you wanted, isn't it? This is why you came here? Something like that? Yeah, you're not sure anymore. Yeah, let's see if you want to stay here on my lap. We can do some little cuddles. You'll be fine. There we go. You're good. Puritan, you're off to watch the VODs. Have fun, everyone. No worries. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. They've got a lot of content to catch up on. His finger hovers above the enter key, as does mine, funnily enough, because that's how I progress all of the chat. He's clearly deciding whether or not to set his plan into motion. Can't even begin to imagine how much pressure is on his shoulders right now. The leader of Argus was right. He's about to introduce chaos into order. His intended outcome was good, but is that how it would play out? Until he followed through, I guess he'd have no idea, and that must be the terrifying part. I look at my friends, and they all seem locked in fear and anticipation. Especially with Clace, who looks particularly shocked. Isaac lets out a deep sigh and closes his eyes. He's muttering something to himself as if it were a mantra. The culmination of his life's work is within his reach. It's admirable. Then, he opens his eyes and looks over at all of us. The hint of worry and doubt he wore on his face is soon replaced with a smirk. Whatever he had said to himself, it clearly provided him with resolve.
Well, so much for those watchful eyes.
He presses the button, and a second later, all the lights shut off. Even the pulsing lights on the servers turn off. It's as if they're dead. I'm immediately concerned for Taylor's well-being, but remember he's not here.
Isaac?
Ooh.
Yeah?
What are you doing?
I make sure to stand still so I don't accidentally bump into anything.
I removed the shackles on the system's AI.
Oh. Ooh. Ugh. I don't know if that was a good idea.
You what? You gave the AI more power?
That doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
Wait. I know exactly what he's doing. Last time there was an unshackled AI.
It's actually a perfect idea, Chiron. It'll be overwhelmed with data and terminate itself.
So you're gonna kill the system?
Not before bringing it back. With a couple of homemade mods, of course.
Too bad the TVs are off. I wanted to see what you did with the drones.
Just a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1.
As if on cue, all the lights turn back on, including the TVs. Much to our surprise, however, nothing's happened in the town square. Everyone on screen exchanges confused glances.
I didn't do anything with the drones. It was just a ploy. Even the town square was a distraction, just like I said.
I mean, okay. You are really giving off evil mastermind vibes at the moment, though, and that's kind of unsettling.
Isaac, what did you do?
Hold on. It should happen in a few more seconds. This is it, everyone. The moment of truth.
Silence. More silence. But then, all of our phones go off in unison.
Yes! It worked!
We all take out our phones. There's a notification on mine that says, "Welcome to the system, Delta." It's the same notification I got when I signed up as a teenager, but this time there's some sort of file attached to the notification.
Wait, what is this?
It's the blueprint I used to get you into the system.
Why do we need this?
It's not just you.
He tilts his head towards the TV. Everybody in the town square is looking down at their phones. Isaac smirks. Is that semi-evil smirk again?
Anybody with a phone can now help out a zero, just like I did. And because of their monopoly, that's, well...
Everybody.
I'm a little shocked, actually. Isaac was operating on a global scale this entire time?
I assume most of you have a spare phone or two?
Yeah, just upgraded before Delta arrived.
Isaac starts typing at the computer again, like he's doing one last thing.
Anyone in the same situation can now give their spare phone to a zero. In fact, there's probably more spare phones lying around than we'd ever need.
I mean, that's a pretty clever way to solve the problem. Don't know why removing shackles from an AI was a requirement for this, but okay. I'm almost in disbelief. Turn everybody against Argus, make them favor the zeros. Then give all of them the power to change the world. Looking back at the TV, the leader of Argus is being evacuated. I guess the town square really was the least of their problems. There's a bit of anger on their face before the camera cuts. Isaac stops typing and finally leaves the computer behind.
Wow, you really are a prodigy.
Isaac scoffs.
Nah, I just have too much time on my hands. But now, Argus isn't the only entry point into the system. I'm gonna turn Cypher into the first true competitor.
Good. Needs a competitor.
I don't think they have a choice. Once you introduce chaos into order, all you can do is find order again. And the playing field is exactly where I want it to be.
You still should have told us you were Hermes, though.
What? And ruin the real reveal?
He loves a grand reveal. He scoffs and we all look at one another. As if to rob us of our victory, however, Clace looks terrified. He has his back pressed against the servers and is almost crying. None of us noticed until now.
You okay, Clace?
That was her.
Ooh.
What? You mean the leader?
In my vision, she...
He cuts himself off and immediately runs towards Isaac. Placing his hands on Isaac's shoulders, he shakes him as he speaks.
Isaac, we need to go, now!
I know, I was planning on it. We still have about 6 minutes.
No, not just from this building. We need to start driving and never come back!
Clace, you're starting to scare me.
I need you to listen to me for once, Isaac! We need to go, right now!
Damn, look at that face. Ooh. That is anger and desperation right there. God damn. Lucifer, you can see it. AI governed the system, touch the system and the AI will defend it. Overwhelm the AI and the system is vulnerable. He runs towards the elevator and presses the button on it. We were all leaving anyway, so we really have no choice. But I've never seen him act this way before. Did he recognize the leader of Argus? All of a sudden, I'm reminded of his diary. That figure with long hair. Was that her? The elevator opens and we all gather up inside. Isaac places his hands on Clace's shoulders and looks him in the eye.
Clace, everything will be okay. I'll get in the car and drive, all right?
Clace nods while trembling in fear at the same time. As the elevator begins its ascent, that fear transfers to all of us. I'm starting to piece it together in my mind, but one fact is clear. This might not end as well as we thought, at least for us. What's the connection then between Clace and this lady? What did he see in his vision? I don't remember. Something not good. When the elevator door opens, it feels like we're entering a new world. Well, we basically are. What Isaac did, it changed almost everything. The world would be helping Zeros en masse, not just Toronto. I remember them theorizing about this in the group chat. The government would have to step in and regulate the system. Argus didn't own it anymore like they had for decades and decades. It belonged to the world now. New companies, new competitors, new innovations. I think the next few decades would bring dramatic technological advancement. If we live to see it, that is. Clace still looks terrified as we exit the elevator. I can only assume that his vision involved some sort of tragedy. And not only that, but the tragedy involved the leader of Argus. The elevator door closes behind us.
Clace?
Ah yeah, the noose, her, and dead Clace, that's right.
Yeah?
Wanna tell me what's going on?
It's just... that's the first time I've ever seen her.
It's the first time anyone has seen her, Clace.
No, that's not what I meant.
His shouts echo through the hallway. I've never seen him quite so bothered before.
Hey, Isaac?
What?
The tension in the air is thick.
This isn't the right floor, is it?
We look around the room and realize he's right. Our concern for Clace must have overtaken anything else. Isaac immediately turns around and starts mashing the elevator button. It appears that we're several floors higher than we needed to be.
What happened?
Kyron looks down at his phone.
4 minutes, Isaac.
I'm trying!
Yep, plan starts to go awry.
If time runs out, the lobby will be full of security guards. The leader gave away our location and...
I said I'm trying!
Take the stairs, damn it. He's mashing the button, but nothing is happening. Ooh, a trap was set. The elevator might be coming, but it must be far away.
What about the stairs?
Not enough time. We're too high up.
What else are we supposed to do?
Just wait, it's coming!
3 more...
Before he can finish, someone shouts freeze from the end of the hallway. We turn around, greeted at the sight of a security guard holding a revolver. Our hands immediately rise up as we're all locked in fear. They take slow steps forward, aiming the gun directly at us. I guess we didn't lock all the employees away. But even so, we were running out of time. If we survived this, there'd be an army greeting us in the atrium. Breaking the tension in the room, Clay steps forward, pushing us aside.
Didn't you watch the TV? It's over!
The guard takes another step forward. Clay spreads out his arms like he's defending us. The others might see bravery, but I see someone almost embracing death.
Put down the gun! Take out your phone!
Another step forward.
Are you just gonna kill us?
Another.
Why? Because it's your job?
One more.
That doesn't sound wrong to you? Killing innocent people to protect your boss? Well then go on! Do it! Kill more people in the name of Argus! Just like those two in the town square! See how well that works out for you!
The guard looks down their sights, ready to shoot. For a second, it seems like time stands still. They could easily kill all of us. I see their finger reach for the trigger. A second later, a loud cracking noise fills the hallway. We all wince and look around frantically to assess what happened. The security guard falls to the ground, clearly knocked unconscious.
Did you miss me?
Nice timing, Taylor. How the hell did you know that we would be here of all places? Taylor stands there tapping a baseball bat against his shoulder. It's cracked. He definitely didn't hold back on the guard. We all run toward him and greet him with hugs and cheers. He just laughs, returning each hug as we head back to the elevator.
Isaac, you're lucky there was actually a bat in your trunk. A few seconds later, and you'd have been dead meat.
You know me. When have I ever lied to you?
I have so many questions. How the hell did Taylor know they were here? How did Taylor get into the building? Taylor's phone hadn't been upgraded as far as we know with permission to be able to get in here, so how did he access the lift? Like, that's a real Deus Ex moment, if ever I've seen one.
Oh, trust me, the list has expanded tenfold. So what do you say? Ready to get going, Hermes?
Yeah, Scout from TF2, 100%. As if on cue, the elevator door opens. We all rush in and Isaac presses the button to take us to the lobby.
Thanks, Taylor. I don't know how much longer I could have stalled them.
It was a great moment of tension, I'll give the game that. Don't love the resolution, but good moment of tension. I was actually worried for Clace there for a moment.
You saw me, huh?
Not at first, but yeah. I really thought they'd shoot me.
I hate to say it, but we can't celebrate just yet.
The music sounds like we can. A beeping sound comes from Chiron's phone. He holds it up.
Looks like time's up.
Just as the door starts to close, something catches us off guard. A loud banging noise. It causes my ears to ring, making me panic. The panic is shared. We all look around frantically, and then I see it. The security guard wasn't fully unconscious. As the door closed, they took the opportunity to fire off one shot. Isaac immediately stumbles against the wall, clutching his shoulder. He looks down in disbelief as blood trickles through his fingers. And then he starts sliding down the wall, falling to the floor.
Isaac! Here, help me get him up.
Dante and Clace immediately reach down for Isaac. They help guide him to his feet, wrapping one of his arms around each of them. He seems a bit delirious, but he's not passed out, and it didn't seem like a fatal shot.
We need to go.
What do we do? That lobby is going to be full of security.
We have to try talking ourselves out of this.
There's no way.
Remember what Isaac promised. Get in the car and drive far away from here.
We need to get Isaac to a hospital. Besides, you haven't even explained why you're freaking out.
Please.
Trust in Dante. Get to the car and drive.
Isaac grunts in pain as the elevator begins its descent to the lobby.
But where? You need medical attention.
There's a first aid kit in his trunk. We can use that and just run for it.
We can go to my colony. I'll show you the way.
We'll never be able to pass the walls.
We can.
We definitely can now.
Huh?
My car. It's how I went. As Hermes.
Isaac shrugs away Dante's arm, letting Clace solely prop him up. Grabbing Dante's hand, he guides it to the wound and applies pressure.
Don't worry about me. Just get to safety.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound. He'll be fine.
I think this is it, Isaac. There's no way we can fight our way out of that lobby.
No, but we can talk our way out of it. Like I said, it's really the only option we have.
How?
They're all having this discussion as the elevator's going down.
Wait a minute.
Dante reaches into Isaac's pocket and pulls out that drive.
This is how. A bargaining chip.
What's that?
It's...
Before Dante can start, the elevator comes to a sudden stop. This time, we've arrived at the lobby level for sure. Whatever greeted us, it seemed like the odds were not in our favor. Talk our way out of this, get Isaac patched up, and escape to Chiron's colony. How does that saying go again? Oh, right. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Woo, boy! It's not quite going according to plan anymore. But hey, it's always like in these kind of things, the first part of getting in and doing the thing, the plan goes smoothly. The getting out, that's the part that never goes how it's meant to. As soon as the door opens, we make our way to the lobby. However, the sight we're greeted to is far from pleasant. In fact, it makes me feel the exact opposite of how I felt when I was here before. At first, I was stunned by the beauty, the potential grace and majesty of Argus. But now, all I see is Argus flaunting their strength against people simply fighting for their ideals. Dozens of armed guards line the lobby, holding up rifles at us as we exit the elevator. They tell us to raise our hands, so we comply. Compliance through fear. That's just what the leader of Argus wanted to avoid. Yet, here we stand, our lives in the hands of those we came to directly oppose. I look at Clace, who continues to hold up Isaac. It's clear that the wound wasn't fatal, and he'd be just fine with some treatment. All we had to do was talk ourselves out of this. Seems like Dante was up to bat. You know, considering that Taylor's already been up to bat, now it's Dante's turn.
I'm going to take a few steps forward. Please don't be alarmed.
Wait, this is just what Isaac did in our R&R campaign. There we go. There's where it's all going to tie together. Yeah, Taylor can simply flirt with everyone in the building to leave. Oh, God. He'll probably either flirt his way out or he'll convince everyone for one big orgy. Yeah, things did escalate fast. Hey, is Epic? You're on intermission. Stopping by to say hi real quick. Thanks for stopping by. Hope your show's going well. Fingers crossed everything's going smoothly for you. Yeah, game was definitely rigged right from the start. Dante is trembling in fear as he takes those few steps. The light shining down from the sunroof strikes the drive in his hands. It almost exaggerates it, subtly grabbing the attention of the guards.
We anticipated a greeting like this, so please, hear me out before you make a decision.
He gulps, the lasers from the guns focused solely upon him. From the sky, we can hear a chopper. It looks to be from one of the news stations. They have a camera pointed down through the sunroof, filming the entire ordeal. That must mean we're being broadcast live around the world. Now, everybody would know who we were. That's terrifying. Dante seems to realize he can use this against the guards.
You see what I'm holding in my hand? This is a drive full of Argus's most classified documents.
The guards immediately change their stance like they're ready to fire.
Wait! If you kill us, you can retrieve the drive, sure. But this isn't the only copy, so listen close. We sent copies of these files to several Cypher computers. If any of us die, our team has the approval to leak them.
I mean, that's a good bluff. It's a good bluff. Clearly a bluff, but the guards lower their stance.
So if you shoot, every secret you tried to cover up will come to light. And not only that, but you'll murder us in front of the entire world.
Aiko, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because the tension in the music here is really good. And a lot of it is from like that little pulsing bass you can hear in the back. Doom, 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 doom. It gives that nice, like almost like subtle, soft heartbeat effect, which is really good for creating that little moment of tension. Dante tilts his head up, reminding them of the helicopter's presence.
A world that you already know has turned against Argus. How do you think they'll greet you when you go back outside?
Oh, with cheers and keys to the city, sure. I look behind the guards and notice a large gathering in front of the building. The people must have rushed here after the leader fled the town square. And to make it even better, I can hear them cheering on Hermes.
Put down your guns and let us leave. I've seen some of these files. It's not worth it.
Dante takes another step forward.
Whatever you think you're doing, whoever you think you're serving, it's not right. Didn't you hear what your leader said? You can't hold authority through fear.
Another step forward.
Although, your job is to enforce Argus's rule. Are you scared of losing points? Is that it?
Points don't matter. This is a game of whose line is it anyway? The rules are made up and the points don't matter.
Insubordination. Always looking to pass the dirty work down a few levels. Well, if it's points you're after, go ahead and shoot.
I mean, Dante's doing a great job of bluffing his way through this.
But just know that everybody is watching. It won't matter what your score is anymore.
And then you get like the DM just doing like a voiceover like, all right, cool. So you're going to attempt to bluff. Roll intimidation. Nat 1. Shit.
We can all hold each other accountable now. Argus isn't the only path forward. It never was. We've given power to the people. You can either be with us or against us.
He holds out the drive.
So I'll ask you again. Please, lower your weapons. Don't cling to the remnants of her power.
Yeah, I is epic. Go ahead and shoot. It's almost as good as... What are they going to do? Shoot me? Promptly shot.
Because Argus will be held accountable for everything they've done. And your actions will decide whether you go down with them or rise with us.
His final words echo through the atrium. Rise with us, rise with us, rise with us. Wow, talk about a rousing speech. He did always have a way with words, though. I can sense the hesitation in the guards, the sheer apprehension. They're just waiting to see who acts first. The rest would probably follow suit.
Dante.
Don't worry, I got this.
He turns his attention back towards the guards.
Don't make me ask again. We can go outside and greet the new world as allies.
The next few moments feel like an eternity. Just like this game. I can feel my heartbeat faster and stronger than before. And I know that my friends all feel the exact same way. Unified in our fear that these may be our last moments alive. But like we always said, if we went down, we'd go down together. On each other. That's what really mattered. Was not expecting that as the next line. That we had each other's backs until the end. But then, I was worried the game had frozen for a second there. Oh god. One guard lowers their weapon, then another, and another. Soon enough, our hostile greeting has reached its end. The guards move aside, giving us the freedom to exit the building.
You did it!
I'm a bit surprised myself.
Clace and Isaac step forward.
Let's get to the car. We've got to go to that colony.
Right.
We start taking slow, cautious steps towards the exit. The crowd outside is still cheering out Hermes' name. A lot of them must be zeros from the town square.
I think you have a bit of a welcoming party, Isaac.
Isaac simply smirks as we leave the building. The crowd goes silent upon seeing our group. It's almost eerie. I know that most of these people are zeros and agents of Cypher. Isaac waves at them as if to signal that he's Hermes. They are seeing their leader and champion for the first time after all. The rigorous cheering is now met with happy smiles and knowing nods. I'm reminded of the night we left the club and Dante dropped that booze. Everyone stayed far away from us, scared to approach and interact with a zero. But now, they're all together in unity. It's impossible to tell who belongs to what group. Well, I guess they weren't groups anymore. That was the point of all this. The crowd moves aside, giving us a clear path to Isaac's car. I'm just imagining, like, they're walking out the front of the building, there's crowds, like, were like almost like a semicircle around, and then it's like parts, and there's just this beaten up second-hand, repaired car just sitting there waiting, couple of dents on the side, and it's like, yeah, that's about right. At least it appeared to be a clear path. Standing there, staring right at me, is that child. They smile at me and I do the same in return, just like before. It's almost like they knew I was special right from the beginning. Despite the circumstances, I don't see any hint of grief on their face. They stand surrounded by city folk and zeros in the new world their parents fought for. A new world that, even though it may be hard to believe, was created by us. Our victory ensured that the deaths of their parents weren't in vain. And I can see from the look on their face that they understand this. An understanding conveyed without words, just like our entire bond thus far. The child realizes that they were staring and shakes their head with embarrassment, and then they run off to the side, fully opening the path to the car. We can't waste any more time, so we start to rush inside. Taylor opens the trunk and puts the bat back inside. I can see him retrieve a first aid kit and a bottle of booze. Dante gets in the driver's seat and Chiron the passenger seat. A moment later, we're off. Myself, Taylor, and Clace are left to patch Isaac up in the back. I guess our destination was Chiron's colony, an escape from Toronto.
You good to lead the way?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. I made it out safely. All's going not quite according to plan, but moving the right way. As we drive down the highway, I recognize some of the sights. We passed these places when Isaac picked me up from the airport. That almost feels like a lifetime ago, though. How different things were.
You doing good back there, Isaac?
Yeah.
Here, you gotta take off that shirt and jacket.
Any excuse to take off Isaac's shirt. We all guide him out of his clothing and get a better look at the wound. The highway makes things a bit shaky, but I think we'll be fine.
Do we take it out?
No, too risky. We'll have to patch him up and leave it inside.
Risky how?
We could do more damage and infect it. Best bet is to close it up and stop the bleeding.
I mean, that's actually pretty logical. You just want to close it up, stop the bleeding for now, find an actual doctor or surgeon who can operate and remove the bullet if it's still stuck in there. Funnily enough, though, the odds of the bullet being lodged in is pretty low. From my understanding, 9 times out of 10, actually even more than that, the bullet's just going to pass directly through, depending on the range for when it's fired. But yeah, the odds of the bullet being stuck in there are actually not that high.
So we have to stitch him up in a moving vehicle.
Yep.
You do, Taylor. Call it even for ditching us.
Fine.
He grabs the bottle of booze resting beside him.
Here, Isaac, use this.
Isaac opens up the bottle and takes a massive swig.
No, I meant pour it on the wound.
That's great. That is exactly what Isaac would do.
Oh.
Isaac turns the bottle upside down, pouring several shots worth on his body.
Oh, that is nowhere near as fun.
Yeah, probably a good thing you took a swig first, actually. Although, I have to recall, I'm not 100% sure that actually putting, like, non-sterilized alcohol on a wound is a good idea, but it's probably better than nothing.
Is that even gonna work?
It might. I saw it in a movie. Here,
Yeah.
let's get that kid open.
Because movies can be, trusted to give you real-life advice and guidance. Clace grabs Isaac's shirt and holds it over the wound.
So just stitch it up and dress it. Should be easy enough. You might want to look away.
Isaac taps my arm and holds up his hand. I grab it and squeeze tight. This was definitely going to hurt.
Clace, talk to me.
Huh?
Oh, good idea. Keep his mind occupied.
You gotta tell us why we're doing this, man. Isaac told us to trust you, but why?
Yeah, good point, Lucifer. It definitely depends on, like, the alcohol content of the alcohol. That's a great sentence, I'm sure. Yeah, something high. It needs a high percentage, high proof. The grip on my hand tightens as Taylor starts to stitch him up. I try not to look. It wouldn't be a pretty sight after all. It's not gonna be that bad. It's just a bullet wound. Like, it's just gonna be a hole. There's worse.
It was the leader of Argus. I recognized her.
You're from where?
Your vision, right?
Yeah.
The one you took all the music from?
Well, that was just a benefit. What actually happens in my vision is...
Ooh, someone actually gonna talk about their Komorebi now?
Well, I'm backstage, alone. And this woman comes up to me and... Well, she...
He grabs his scarf and tugs on it, tightening it slightly around his neck. That simple, almost comical gesture was enough for us to get the idea.
You mean...
Yeah,
By the leader of Argus?
it looks that way.
Isaac, you have got to destroy that drive. If you don't, she'll come after us.
But
Isaac, seriously!
Can you please stop bickering over there? I'm only performing surgery right now.
I like to imagine that Taylor on the side has his phone opened up with a YouTube video of how to stitch a bullet wound. That's the only way that he's guiding through this. Also, he's live streaming this and his chat is trying to help, but is being actively useless. That seems to be enough for Dante to stop. Since I read Clace's diary, however, I understand this even more. In his vision, he's killed by the leader of Argus. That's unbelievable. And not only that, but he had a business card for the Vision Protection Program. He must have thought that the program could help him escape his fate. But when the entire corporation was run by his killer, well, I guess it felt like there was nowhere to hide. Except for maybe a Zero colony. I can't even imagine what he's feeling right now. The only program that could help him was owned by her. Almost explains why he was so willing to take a bullet for all of us. He clearly thinks that there's no way to avoid his death now. If anyone wanted revenge against us, it would definitely be her. Isaac's grip tightens on my hand again before finally letting go.
There we go. Now let's get him in a new shirt and bandage him up.
Lucifer, honestly, the we don't talk about our visions reminds us of we don't discuss paychecks. Absolutely agree. And pro tip, talk about your paychecks. Most countries, most states, being prevented from discussing your pay is actually more illegal than discussing your pay. So always keep that in mind, because not discussing your pay, the only person that benefits is your employer. Doesn't benefit you. Should always talk about your pay. Spider-Man Show, what's my favorite dinosaur? Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus is awesome. Love him. Budget airlines, that's actually really interesting. I guess they're both a sort of artificial cultural taboo for the betterment of the company. Yeah, like, when you have to think, like, when this whole thing of Komorebi came up and it became a phenomenon, someone obviously turned around and went, no, we shouldn't talk about this. This is a thing, it's private, it's confidential, you should never talk about it. But realistically, like, there's nothing that would prevent you from talking about it other than just a societal norm. That's all it is.
There's one in my messenger bag. Just be careful, it's one of my favorites.
We help Isaac into a new shirt and then Taylor wraps him up. He both looks and sounds a lot better than mere minutes ago. Grabbing the bottle of whiskey, he takes another large swig. Yay, alcohol to numb the pain.
I earned this.
You sure did.
We all sit back and let out a collective sigh of relief. Isaac would be fine. We just have to monitor him.
So let's get back to this leader thing.
She wants revenge or something.
It doesn't seem like it. In fact, she seems sad while she's doing it.
Hey, Ankylosaur's your favorite one, Acorn. Nice. And hey, Sander, how you doing? Are we winning? Yeah, Isaac got shot. Absolutely. We are doing very well. But we have basically managed to take down the Argus Tech Corporation, and we have found a way to be able to provide phones and therefore clearance and access to pretty much everyone. So yeah, things are going well, but we're on the run now. Yeah, got shot by a security guard, just random guy. Funnily enough, after he'd been smacked around the head by Taylor with a baseball bat, who just basically pulled a Batman.
It's gotta have something to do with that drive. Especially since you mirrored the files to a bunch of other servers.
Oh,
That was a bluff.
that was a bluff.
Yeah, huh? Taylor seems shocked.
A bluff saved our lives?
Yeah.
Yeah. Had to take a page out of Isaac's playbook. He did a good job in that final standoff with the thorns. Well, except for the dagger part, still don't agree with that one.
We just need to destroy that drive then. They'd have no reason to come after us anymore. Especially now that the entire world knows our faces.
Yeah, but you have to destroy it in a way that proves that there's no other versions of those documents anywhere, and you also have to destroy it, publicly in a way that's 100% believable. He seems proud as he says that, like the exposure would help his career.
That's a lot of info to throw away, though. I mean, every secret we've ever wanted to know?
It's not worth it.
I think it is worth it. That seems to be the note that this conversation ends on. We clearly had to get to safety and destroy that drive. Doing so, it seems, would prevent Clace's vision. But now, almost everything about Clace made perfect sense. All the booze, the tranquilizers and gummies he started to consume, he was using drugs to try and suppress his horrible vision. And I actually can't blame him. Being forced to live your death almost every day, I seek out almost any form of relief within my grasp. Even... No, I don't want to think about it. We could protect him and make sure it doesn't happen. Of course, he'd still have to live it, almost every single day. I start to panic just from the thought of it. I grab Isaac's hand and he squeezes it, as if trying to console me.
You okay?
I nod. Clearly a lie.
Just take a left up here and keep going straight. Do we have to do anything special to pass the wall, Isaac?
No, just go straight on through.
You modded your car to do that?
No, it's just old.
We sit in silence for the rest of the way, letting Isaac rest and relax. Beforehand, going to a colony meant you could never return. But now things have changed. I think we'd be allowed to go home. Sander, whose vision is his own death? Not Isaac, Clace. Clace was having a vision of his own death, where, from his perspective, he was basically being killed by this random woman. Turns out that woman was the head of Argus Corporation. We just didn't know because they'd never revealed themselves publicly before until they just gave the speech literally today. So yeah, Clace was thrown into a panic. He's like, oh, I now know who the person is that is going to kill me in the future. So that's fun. So the goal was clear. Wait out any trouble and destroy the drive. Hopefully I could talk to my friends a little bit and hear how they're feeling. The raid on Argus HQ shook us all up. Everyone's just acting fine. A little while later, the car comes to a complete stop. You thought Clace's vision was his own songs that he plagiarized himself? Yes, it is both. His vision takes place backstage at one of his own concerts. So his vision is obviously him performing, and then backstage he gets killed. They never really kind of said how long a vision can be, but given it tends to happen when you're asleep, I'm guessing it can be the same length as a dream, which can feel like hours. The sun has set and I have no idea where we are.
Let me get out first. I'll start a fire. You're probably not used to this kind of cold.
Definitely not.
All right. We'll wait until we see it.
And wait we did. Alright, well, they managed to escape the city. That's good. I wonder how this game's going to wrap everything up. That's going to be interesting. Ah, that looks peaceful. Looks quaint. Look at that. Hey, I'd much rather live there in the middle of a big bustling city. As we exit the car, we take a collective breath of fresh air. For some reason, it's the freshest air I've ever experienced in my life. As we start walking, the fire and warmth is our immediate destination. It feels like the danger has finally dissipated and we're actually safe. Honestly, that was a long drive, so I'm glad that we're finally here. Good thing Isaac's car let us pass the wall like that. An even better thing that Chiron got the fire ready.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Oh man, red does not look right on you. Like, I know it's a borrowed shirt, but yeah, that doesn't look right.
That's what I thought when I saw the city for the first time.
You know what they say. Normal for you can be life-changing for someone else.
Very profound, Dante, very profound.
Life-changing, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Do you think we were followed?
Definitely not. I would have noticed.
Weren't you busy being in pain?
Only slightly. Trust me, though. I know how to tell if I'm being followed. Same with being Hermes and hiding from Argus.
How much hiding did you do exactly?
Oh man, you should have seen this story from my perspective. So many close calls. It was basically like a movie.
I'm so glad you waited until now to tell us that.
I'm still getting over what happened in the atrium. Can't believe I talked them down like that.
Yeah, really, Dante is the real hero here. Isaac got a lot of stuff done, but Dante's the real hero.
It's just like I told you, Dante. You could change the world with your words. And by saving me, I think you might have done just that. I was terrified, but I knew I could trust you.
Thanks, man.
So hang on, let's recap a little bit here. So, Isaac got them in and did the thing that needed to be done to basically change society and fix the social problems. Taylor came to their rescue by knocking out a security guard with a baseball bat and thus allowing them to escape certain death in that scenario. Clace's visions have helped guide them to where they are now to avoid other potential threats and death. Dante's speech managed to get them out of the atrium, past the security guards, and into the car to safety. And Delta did nothing. Once again.
And, Taylor, we need to talk.
What did I do now?
I told you that you'd be thankful for this car one day. Might not hurt to have a little more faith next time.
Like, they could have at least had Delta doing like the minor surgery on Isaac so he had some involvement, but no, gets nothing done. He starts to laugh, but quickly winces in pain.
Funny. But save the wisecracks for later. You gotta rest up and get better.
Isaac groans in pain.
Fine. What should we do next, then?
I wouldn't mind taking a look around. I've always wondered what the colonies were like.
Go for it.
Taylor nods and starts looking around. Yep, it's a colony. The rest of us stick by Chiron, who continues to tend to the fire. Gotta say, he definitely knew what he was doing. The warmth is appreciated. We all sit down, finding solace in the peace of where we are.
Isaac, we've got to talk about that drive.
I know.
We need to destroy it. Otherwise, we'll all be in danger.
Yeah, that's part of why I got this fire ready.
Yeah, they're gonna burn the drive. But if they do that, they have to record it. Otherwise, how will people know they've actually destroyed it?
You want me to burn it?
That's the idea. You heard Clace's vision, Isaac. Right now, he's not in harm's way. We won.
Yeah, that's true. Isaac, if you keep that thing, you might just make his vision come true. And not just him, but I think we'd all be in danger. We hurt Argus. We don't need to anger them more.
Just let me think.
Gray, you are 100% correct. Why are the bandages over the shirt and not under the shirt? They're like, oh, we need to portray that he's injured somehow. Ugh, it makes no sense. I love it. They've obviously done it for stylistic reasons, but logically it makes no sense. Yeah, Spider-Macho, if we remove Delta, the story wouldn't even change. Like, even all the warnings and these visions that we've been having have not impacted the story in any meaningful way. This story would have played out basically the way it has without Delta. Good lord. Lucifer, basically in the movie, the dude is just an accordion player who gets recruited to the army, accidentally defects to the partisans, and he just keeps playing music to keep the spirits up. That is basically it. Yeah, we're just here, to provide positivity and morale. That's all we do. And we don't even do that particularly well.
You know, I'm pretty tempted to see what's on the drive.
Seriously?
Yeah, same. But the stakes are too high.
I guess that's where we differ.
Huh?
You know, I totally thought I'd die today. I had no guarantee that I could make my vision a reality. So, I accepted my death a long time ago. If I could leak these secrets, my life might be worth it.
I'm on the fence too.
Isn't it enough to destroy Argus's monopoly? Look at how bright the future is right now. Those secrets could just cause more chaos. You have no idea what you'd be unleashing.
So look at the content first and decide if it's worth leaking.
I guess. Like I said, just let me think. Are you okay with giving me some time?
Is it going to be this decision, what to do with the drive, that tears the friendship group apart? Because they did say, like, they don't see each other staying in touch in the future.
Sure. Not like we've got anywhere else to go. I'm gonna make like Taylor and take a look around.
As soon as Dante finishes speaking, we all stand up, except for Isaac. I guess we'd have some time to waste while Isaac makes up his mind. But I know that he'd make the right choice, so I'm not too worried. My eyes are directed towards Taylor, who's walking around some nearby trees. As much as I want to check out the cabin, I feel the need to talk to him. I'm still confused by what happened and what went through his mind. Why ditch us, only to return and save the day? With that question in mind, I slowly approach him.
Hey there, Delta.
He smiles, almost like he's completely unfazed. We almost died a couple of times and he ditched us.
Oh, did you come for an apology? That's fair, but I think I gave a pretty good one in the car.
He tilts his head back to where Isaac's sitting. That's true, he did stitch up Isaac while we drove here.
Also, don't forget how I saved you with the bat. Part of me was driven by guilt. To make it up to you, you know?
I nod.
I guess I'm just curious if you accept my apology. I was kind of selfish and stupid. But it felt right.
You are selfish and stupid, Taylor, but that's why we love you.
I was torn between two worlds. Do I join Cypher and potentially die? Or do I sit back and continue my life as a streamer?
You do the thing that matters to more people than just yourself. That's what you do. Yeah, imagine that the drive connects Argus to the Nazis. That's why, like, they don't want that information from, like, the 1940s to leak. Who knew who, like, they were contacting to get that information? Oh, good God. Budget Airlines, now you can thank yourself from 2 hours ago for the delicious iced tea. Absolutely, that's why I wanted you to do that. Who am I romancing? Yeah, Dante. Haven't had a chance to do anything more just yet, but maybe we'll get something in the epilogue.
In the moment, it felt like my choice was obvious. But guilt usually waits until after we do the stupid thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
That's really all I have to say, though. It was stupid. Stupid enough that I won't blame you if you hate me. But part of me wants to think I made it up to you.
Woo! We have been playing for 2 hours and we finally have the first choice that we can make. Right. You saved us. Of course you made it up to me. Taylor, you know I could never stay mad at you. You kind of ditched us. I'm definitely a little salty. Or I can understand why you did what you did. I'm actually, for the first time, going to go with the bottom one here. I can understand why you did what you did. I get it. Yeah, 99% of us would not join Cypher. So I am going to go with the bottom one here.
That's fine, actually. Understanding and acceptance are often mistaken for the same thing.
That's
You don't
profound.
have to accept what I did, as long as you understand why.
He smiles.
Just know that I promise to never do it again. I was actually scared that I made my vision come to pass. Argus could take me in, lock me up, and leave me in the dark. I mean, I guess they still could, given what we did. But the entire world saw our faces, so it'd be difficult. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're celebrities now.
Maybe. Depends on how the public views us. Sandy, you scrolled back a bit. You're surprised this game has any female characters. Yeah, or at least female characters that appear on screen. That was certainly a surprise. And they nailed the voice actor for that role. I don't correct him because the thought seems kinda nice.
If we disappeared, I feel like people would notice. They're probably waiting for Hermes to make a victory speech. I bet that we can march right back into Toronto and bathe in applause.
Yeah, we'll see.
There is the matter of that drive, though. And Clace's vision to top it all off. What do you think Isaac should do? I mean, I'm part of camp, please destroy the thing.
And now we get a little bit of choice as well, which might influence some actions. I think Isaac should destroy it to keep us all safe. If it could really destroy Argus, then my life might be worth it. I'm going to go with the bottom one. Argus has done a lot of damage to society. I think if it could really destroy Argus, then my life might be worth it. You know what? I haven't done this, I think, for like the entire game. I'm going to throw down a save. Alright.
A martyr, huh? That doesn't really fit my style. I'd prefer to enjoy the new world, not die to create it. But I can tell you that Isaac probably feels the exact opposite. I guess we just have to wait and see what he does. It's definitely a weight on my shoulders, though.
I think it's one on everybody's shoulders. Yeah, bro's a streamer. Imagine being a streamer and a revolutionary. Yeah, you don't exactly see many people like that. They're like, oh yeah, yesterday I was overthrowing the government. Today, we're playing Fortnite.
Not really a fan of carrying other people's burdens. But for Isaac and all of you, I do almost anything. I don't know why, but I feel so drawn toward all of you. Maybe we really can stick to that pact we made.
You feel so drawn towards all of us because you're a horny mofo that will try to flirt with anything that moves, and we just happen to be your closest friends. Taylor holds out his hand.
Until the end?
Until the end. I grab his hand and shake it.
You know, I used to think that fighting fate was futile. Until I met you, that is. You've really changed our lives.
I really haven't. He gives me a playful smirk, as though he knows that I've done nothing.
Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But you gotta take the good with the bad, remember? I guess what I mean to say is thanks for everything.
He releases the grip on my hand.
Can't wait to have you on my stream sometime. Something tells me that business will be booming. The world is definitely waiting to see our faces again.
Yeah, Isaac changed our lives. Delta did nothing.
Oh, and Isaac too. I could have an exclusive
Now
interview
you're
with
thinking.
Hermes. We can even use my following to spread his message.
Absolutely. I said that ages ago. He's going to be using social media as a platform to spread the message of Cypher. Trying to flip this around and help out his career. How very Taylor of him. I can tell he's fine if he's already excited about going back home. I think it'd be better to chat with the others. They seem more shaken up.
Go on. I won't be offended if you leave. Speaking of Isaac, though, I just saw him go into that cabin. If you talk to him, see if he'd be down to guest on my stream.
Yeah, Lucifer. Hi guys! As you know, we've had a fun couple of days, and as you know, we overthrew the government last week. So, today, I just want to chill and play some Stardew Valley. Like, honestly, if that was like a real streamer, I think the game that they would have to have as their go-to would be something like Papers, Please. That would just be beautiful. Isn't that Taylor's job? Either way, I nod and leave Taylor to his own devices. I definitely needed to have a chat with Isaac. How was he feeling right now? Taylor said he went into one of the cabins, so I follow suit. I wonder how it feels knowing that you changed the world forever. That was Taylor's final heart to heart. We're getting all the achievements. Alright. Oh yeah, you do overthrow the JoJo Corporation in Stardew Valley. Similar. Oh, look at this cabin. Doesn't this look cozy? The kind of place that I'd be pretty happy to live. You got a nice comfy couch, a bookcase, fireplace, a little loft where presumably like the bedroom is. It looks gorgeous. Love it. When I enter the cabin, Isaac has his back facing toward me. He's staring down into a fireplace, holding that bottle of whiskey. One hand, with an open palm, braces himself against the wall.
Delta.
He turns to face me, wobbling slightly. Dude, how much have you drunk? Not sure if it's from the pain or the alcohol.
Hey, it helps with the pain. If you can give me another option, I'll take it.
He places the bottle down on a nearby table, smiling at me. It's clear that he doesn't just mean physical pain, given everything that happened. Being shot and held at gunpoint by Argus was sure to leave an impact on anybody. Even Hermes.
I guess we're just passing time until the morning, huh? Then we'll head back into the city and see what happened.
You know, looking at this little community, I think the Zeros have got it figured out. But also, where are all of the other people? Is this Chiron's home? But there's multiple houses here. But yeah, where is everyone else? I notice he's intentionally glossing over the drive. It's fair though. He clearly has a lot going on in his mind.
What did happen though? We lost all reception at the city limits.
He points up to the sky.
If you listen close, you can hear the helicopters. Far away, sure, but they're still up in the air. You know what that means?
I shake my head.
They're not looking for us. They had eyes on us since the moment we left that building. If they wanted to chase us, they'd know exactly where we are.
That's a good point.
They seem more interested in what's going on inside the city. And that thought is both terrifying and exciting. What do you think is happening?
Okay, I bet they're celebrating in the streets right now, probably hooking up other Zeros to the phones, a historic moment. Should be cautious, it could have escalated to violence. I reckon the middle one, they're probably hooking up all the Zeros with phones. It's a historic moment. I'm gonna hope for the best.
Oh, you're right. I bet the
Another
world is
achievement.
watching it all go down. Can you imagine coming together to witness the creation of unity? I think I did something really special, Delta. It opened a lot of doors. Part of me can sympathize with the leader of Argus, though. Stuck between red tape and ideals from past generations. We're all tangled up in webs far greater than we realize.
You took the opportunity for action, though. The leader of Argus did not.
Of course, all that sympathy disappears when I think of Clace. I believe his vision. I wish I didn't, but I don't really have a choice. What we did, or what we do next, could determine our fate.
Here's the thing, though. Your actions determine your fate, visions or no visions.
I just hope it all ends well. When we get back home, we'll have a lot to catch up on. I hate not having reception. I feel so vulnerable.
I mean, yeah, that does make sense given how reliant on technology you are. Out here, you've got no tools at your disposal.
Well, nothing wrong with being vulnerable. Thanks for coming to see me, by the way. Anything you wanted to talk about? I mean, we just went through a lot. You holding up all right?
Oh, I'm fine. Curious about your vision or curious about what you do with the drive? That's an interesting choice. Curious about the vision or curious about what you do with the drive? Asking about visions is pretty frowned upon. I probably won't get an answer, so let's ask about the drive.
Me too, honestly. I have to take my vision into account, you know? I'm still worried by the fact that we aren't in touch anymore. It seems like keeping the drive could cause a rift between us.
That's fair.
Or worst case scenario, put our lives in further danger. But it might be the key to making my vision a reality. You know? It feels like I'm holding our future in my hands. It was honestly easier when I held the world's future. This is so much more personal. It's crushing. Have you ever been torn between what you want and what you need? Both sides vying for your attention, begging you to give in. If you don't choose quickly, it's enough to tear you apart.
I can see how that'd put you in a pretty tough position.
There's no in between here, you know? I either destroy the drive or keep it.
you could hide it, actually. There are other options. I think you've done enough. It's up to others now. I still think they just need to know what's on that bloody drive in the first place to figure out. Because if, yeah, the drive goes, oh, yeah, they colluded with Nazis and helped kill millions of people, that needs to go public. If it's, oh, this person, leaked a document that ruined someone's public image, that's not that bad. Could be worse. Yeah, you could hide it.
No, it wouldn't work. Right now, all that matters is whether it exists or not. It's a continued threat to Argus's safety and our own.
Fair.
But the goal was to harm Argus, wasn't it? Without leaking this info, it feels like half of a victory. I'm right on the edge of being able to finish the job. It's a lot to take in, Delta. It really is. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just destined to be alone. Even if I destroy the drive, I can't guarantee that you won't resent me. I dragged all of you into danger. I lied. I cheated the system. But I did it all in the name of your safety and a better future.
Yeah, you did it all with the right intent.
The fact that I had to deceive you? It's almost too much to bear. My only consolation is the fact that we won. I hope that the days ahead are enough to pay you back. It doesn't feel like we're under their thumb anymore. We're free. I mean, just look around. We're on a colony, Delta. And we can go back to Toronto, too.
Yeah, got the freedom to come and go as you please. That's something we didn't have before.
We might be the first people in the world with that right. Just like Chiron was the first zero to bridge the gap. Real trendsetters. Feels pretty good, huh?
Sander, do you know a little bit about it? It's something called nostalgia tech, which we've seen evidence that Argus Corporation is working on it. And it seems to be something that they do manage to create in the future, and we're using this tech to look back either on our own past, or we're actually someone else entirely that's looking back into Delta's past. One of the two, we're not 100% sure which one it is yet, because we're, immersed in the memories. Everything is from a first-person perspective, so even if you were a third party, it would feel like these are your memories that you're re-experiencing. Which is kind of an interesting way to kind of tackle the plot. Yeah, I did see nostalgia stuff. Any new reveals? No, not yet. We still don't know why the nostalgia tech is being used, like what the specific information is that they're trying to find. He sighs.
The first in all of history. But someone had to do it, right? Argus was running on borrowed time. Almost literally.
I nod and decide to shift the topic back to Chiron. Did Chiron ever ask you about his parents?
No. Why? Did he want to?
Yeah, he wanted to know why they defected, who they were.
Fair enough. I'd be curious too. But he never asked me, which is a little odd.
He eyes the bottle of whiskey, but decides not to take more.
You wanna know something weird? When we met Chiron on the street, I recognized him.
You met him before?
No, not really. He just looked eerily familiar. Like the spitting image of someone my dad used to work with. I looked into it, and sure enough, it checked out. He defected with his wife, but that's where the info stops. I'm pretty sure they conceived Chiron on the colony, or whatever they used to call him back when he lived there. I just know that Chiron was his father's name. And so, I decided to pass it down to his son.
I wouldn't say that's amazing, but apparently I'm saying that's amazing.
Is it? It doesn't really change anything. As far as I'm concerned, it's just coincidence.
Simple serendipity, right?
Exactly. But I can't stop myself from connecting dots. I mean, they defected. Like they were running away. A little while after, my dad was killed in that invasion.
Hey, Budget, no worries. Thanks for stopping by. hopefully you'll be able to watch the VOD of this later to see how the game truly ends. But yeah, hope you have a great rest of the day doing whatever you're doing. And hey, welcome back, IE's Epic. Great timing. Stage end stuff is done. How'd the play go? Everything went smoothly?
Were they working against Argus like we are? It's fun to think about, isn't it? Their kids finishing the job? But I'm sure it's just my imagination seeing things in the dark. After all, we're the ones who create the constellations. At the end of the day, they're just stars. We find things where we want to.
I guess it was true. The fact doesn't really change anything. We would have ended up helping whichever Zero came across that day. It's almost like that exact moment tied them to us for the long haul. I do find it a bit interesting though. Isaac implied that Argus might have killed his father? I disregard it, but Clayster's vision means assassination might be in their repertoire.
I'm gonna go back outside and mingle with the others. Clearing the air like this with everybody is a big help. Glad that you were one of the first, Delta. I really am.
IE's Epic, it went well. One singer lost her voice, but luckily she had more speaking parts than singing parts. Definitely fortunate. Hopefully they also had someone in the wings to be able to pick up if her voice was really well and truly gone. It's always a challenge, and that's something that you don't always have full control over. And it happen at always just the most unfortunate times.
If we can make it through this, we can make it through anything. I'm looking forward to our future, you know? As a couple.
About
After this, I think we can start focusing on the fun things.
Yeah, about that. Sorry. He holds out his hands, and I accept the invitation.
Bet I look pretty cool right now, huh?
No, you look a little silly, actually. He smirks and tilts his head towards the wound on his shoulder.
A man who stood against the world and won. But even then, I'm still more proud of our bond. Like I said, it'll always be my greatest achievement. Changing the world? I just wanted us to be happy. Now, tomorrow is nothing but a blank slate for us.
Yeah, I'm on the route now. I can't change it. There's no way to not be in a couple once you've accepted it. I lean in for a kiss, and our lips are soon locked. The only witness to our passion is the dancing of the flames. When he pulls back, I can see the reflection of the fire in his eyes. It's enough to lure me back in for another kiss. And then another, and another. He pushes me back against the wall as it continues. Oh god, it's going to make me read all of this. I can feel the warmth of the flames heat up my lower body. Or maybe it wasn't the flames. Isaac starts to tug at my belt, but the cabin door immediately opens. Dante walks in, immediately both shocked and embarrassed.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, you want to come over here and join in? Isaac lets go of my belt, and we both turn to face Dante.
Don't worry, you're excused. Just, make sure to knock next time.
Right, of course. Didn't mean to intrude. I was here for Delta.
I mean, let's face it, we're both here for Delta. All here for Delta. Isaac's here for... Oh, God, now I'm flustered. Oh, no.
I'll give you some privacy. We just finished talking anyway.
Uh-huh.
You sure you don't need some more time?
Isaac smiles, stepping forward.
We have all the time in the world, Dante.
Yeah, I suppose we do.
Catch you by the fire then, Delta?
Uh-huh. I smile and nod. Dante immediately closes the door after Isaac leaves. But not only that, he locks it too. Perhaps Isaac should have considered that? Well, at least we have privacy for whatever it is he wanted to talk about now.
Hold on a sec.
Uh-huh. Talk. Round 2 of the smooches. Here we go. He takes determined steps forward and grabs the bottle of whiskey. One large swig later, he turns to face me with a look of sorrow in his eyes.
I did it, Delta.
Did what?
In the server room, I found a computer.
Ah, you did find what you were looking for.
Isaac's mod gave my phone some high-level access. I looked into my family, Delta. I really did it.
That's great.
No, it's not.
Oh. His shout echoes through the cabin. He takes a step back like he regrets raising his voice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to shout. It's just... I wish I didn't do it. Has that ever happened to you, Delta? Sought out information only for it to hurt you?
Yeah, sure. Can I say, of course, sometimes we even know it'll hurt beforehand, or yeah, that's part of why I moved away from home. I'm going to do the top one. Of course, sometimes we even know it'll hurt beforehand.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of thought it might hurt, but it's also better than not knowing.
Let's see. Family are dead. Family don't want to get in touch with him. Family have moved somewhere else. Family never existed.
Maybe. I mean, otherwise I'd always wonder what if. And that's basically the same thing as regret.
Oh, Spider, you're going to have to go back and rewatch a little bit because you just missed a scene of passion between Delta and Isaac as they lay by the fire, the warm flames heating up their bodies. You have to go back and watch what was going on. He scoffs.
Ironic that I'm full of regret either way, huh? Regretful of the knowledge I'd regret not knowing. There's gotta be something poetic about that.
I shrug. I'm just curious what he found out. He places the whiskey back down, but I can tell he was tempted to have more.
Well, I didn't even know where to start. I figured I'd just look them up and find an address.
Good start. There's a long pause before he continues.
But it's just...
He almost breaks down in front of me as his eyes glisten. I know he's holding back, but I can hear the sheer sorrow in his voice.
They're gone, Delta. Just gone.
Gone?
The last entry in their file was some kind of incident report. It mentioned something about a gas leak in the house.
Lovely. Oh.
It was only a few years after I ran away. I don't know how to feel. I'm just so confused.
You should feel lucky because if you hadn't run away, you would have been caught in that as well. He's shaking. I'd simply step forward and wrap my arms around him.
What is my vision, then? We're happy. We're a family.
Ooh, that's rough. So maybe the vision is the life that he would have had he not run away.
My brother seems so proud when he looks at me, like everything is fine and I'm worth looking up to.
I mean, that is brutal.
And the hate between me and my parents is long gone. This vision is what I've based all my decisions around. And what? It's a lie?
I continue holding him and just let him vent.
If I knew this was going to happen, I would have stayed. I would have fixed things and spent more time with them.
But then you wouldn't be who you are today.
You're right. I know you're right. And it sucks. I like that version of me in the vision, though. I feel so complete. Like I can tell I'm missing something in reality.
You have a family in all of us, Dante. I can tell he's starting to calm down.
Yeah. And if I stayed, I guess I wouldn't be here right now. But maybe they wouldn't have had another kid. He didn't deserve what happened to him. I think that's the part that hurts the most, Delta. I really would have liked to meet him.
Sniffles.
Everyone is out there celebrating victory and a new tomorrow, but the tomorrow I've discovered leaves me feeling hollow.
I don't know how I feel about this line. Let's see where it goes. You should be thankful for your vision, Dante.
Huh?
Remember what we talked about on the way to the club?
Vaguely?
Visions are indistinguishable from reality.
Yeah.
You'll get to spend time with your family almost every day. He sniffles some more, but I can tell the tears have subsided.
You know, I usually pride myself on my level head. This just really shook me up, you know?
I mean, I get it. Imagine making all your life decisions working towards a future that you have seen, only to find out that all the decisions that you made gave you the exact opposite of what you wanted, and there's now no way to change that. That's rough. He wraps his arms around me and hugs me back.
But I know that you're right.
They'll comfort you every day until your last.
I have a feeling you will, too. Together until the end, remember?
If they turn this into a passionate scene now, that feels just wrong. It's like this guy's in front of you breaking down about the fact that he's just found out all his family are dead. Now let's make out. Of course, until the end.
Thanks.
He shakes his head like he's shrugging off the sadness. A moment later, our tight embrace is broken.
Sorry again for raising my voice. It just wasn't easy learning what I did.
I don't blame you. Grief can consume us.
It definitely can.
He rubs the back of his head.
You know, I guess my vision was a good one, after all. Not many people get to spend time with lost loved ones. I'm looking forward to the next time it happens now. I can just picture their smiles, the taste of the food. It's a perfect moment, frozen in time for us to enjoy. And nobody can take that away from me. Our love as a family prevails, even over death. Isn't that the most beautiful thing you ever heard?
I nod, enjoying the reversal of his mood. Sometimes all it takes is a little creative thinking. He's clearly still grieving, but this new train of thought will help him.
Speaking of beautiful things...
Yep, there we go. He gulps as he looks in my eyes with the slightest hint of shyness.
Remember how I wanted to start seizing the moment?
Yeah. He places his hands in mine.
There's this scene in one of my books. It's two lovers in a cabin, just like this one.
I always knew he wrote smut. There's no other way this was going to go. He blushes brightly.
It's where they share their first kiss. I thought it'd be cool if...
He cuts himself off while stumbling on his words.
I mean, I think it's the perfect place for...
Say nothing and kiss him. I cut off his words by going in for a kiss. He lets out a... Oh, God. I have to read this out loud. Ah! You guys have no idea how much this is paining me. He lets out a soft moan and raises one of his hands to my face. Softly stroking my cheek, he presses himself more into the kiss. Our first kiss. But not my first kiss of the night, that's for sure. It lasts for what feels like forever, but then Dante slowly pulls back.
You know, I had a whole speech rehearsed.
Yeah, it seemed like you needed some help.
Me? Never.
He smirks.
Good to know we were on the same wavelength, though. I knew you'd be special since the day I met you.
Of course you did. Yeah, bro writing romance isn't surprising to anyone. Aiko, does your wife watch your streams? She hasn't for a long time, but sometimes she does jump in during her lunch break because she works while I'm live streaming. And it is coming up to about lunchtime, so there is every chance that she's jumped in just to see what I'm doing, and if so, hi honey!
Though it's hard to believe we only met a few weeks ago. So much has happened, it's hard to comprehend.
And so much has yet to happen too.
Yeah. And for me, my Komorebi will no longer dictate how I feel. It's odd how something named after the light could leave us feeling so lost in the dark.
Yeah, you can't remove the gay from the gay furry vision of it. We always knew we were working towards this. I'm just surprised that it took until the final freaking episode to get to this kind of content. I thought we'd be doing this at least like halfway through. Gotta get the ball rolling somewhere. Gotta make it a little steamy and, you know, a little sensual.
But even in the darkness, you can always find light. I guess you just have to know where to look.
As he speaks those words, he looks right into my eyes.
Anyway, you ready to call it?
I nod as he heads towards the locked door. As soon as he opens it, the frigid air rushes into the cabin.
I'll be waiting by the fire. I think we're just waiting for Isaac to make a decision, but I know that guy better than almost anyone else.
Alright, given how this is going, we still need to talk to Clace and Chiron, and then we'll probably get into the final scene.
And I just want you to know that we're gonna be fine. Isaac is gonna burn that drive to keep us all safe. And if he doesn't, I might just put up a fight about it.
Yeah, this drive is definitely going to tear everyone apart. With a smile, he leaves the building. I follow suit soon after and close the door behind me. It shuts with a loud banging noise that echoes through the night. Oops. Why was that required? Why do we have to mention that? I mean, look, there could have been a different loud banging noise in that cabin, if you get my drift. Alright, who's next? As soon as I exit, I notice that Chiron is looking directly at me. He waves me over, and I see no reason not to oblige. He's standing by some trees. I must have disrupted him. He was over there taking a leak.
Hey, Delta, how are things going?
Let's see. I mean, as good as they can be considering everything. Oh, you know, we only provoked an entire corporation. You know what? I'm going with that one. That sounds like fun.
Well, maybe they deserved to be provoked. Someone had to do it eventually. Might as well be us. And I trust Isaac no matter what. I know this will all end well. But I guess I'm being a little biased. You know, the whole first in all of history thing? Isaac changed my life, so I owe him almost everything.
I get that. A lot of us owe him a lot.
Guess I'm lucky he's the good guy, huh? Wouldn't want to be in debt to someone evil.
Nah, he's definitely evil.
But at the end of the day, I guess it's all subjective. Like, I'm sure Argus views Isaac as evil, so I guess it just depends on where you stand. The majority has spoken, though, and they share my views.
Yep, history is written by the victors.
Gotta appreciate some validation now and again, right?
Right, I'm glad the people side with Cypher.
And I'm glad that Isaac survived that gunshot. I mean, can we talk about that? He literally got shot. It feels like my ears are still ringing. It's unbelievable.
Might need to, get someone to check you out. Like, tinnitus is a real problem.
I don't know what that guard stood to gain, though. Must have just been revenge against Taylor. Nobody likes being the victim of a sneak attack after all, but wow. If Taylor were a second later, we could all be dead.
He definitely made it up to made it up to us for the ditching.
In the best possible way, yeah. Anyway, enough about that. I'm curious what you think about the colony. I was born and raised here after all. Does it look like you thought it would?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I hate that you were basically trapped here. I mean, look, there's worse places to be trapped. Yeah, it's beautiful, Chiron.
Glad you think so. I love being surrounded by nature. It's something the city lacks, but I'm okay with that. Crossing that wall changed my life for the better. Until just a few weeks ago, I felt like life was on autopilot. Just going through the motions, routine after routine.
I mean, that's how most of us tend to live our lives.
Everything you take for granted is just amazing to me. It's a city full of opportunity, and I aim to take advantage of that. That is, if everything ends well.
The big if.
But all signs are pointing to yes. I mean, there's no way Isaac will keep that drive.
He will.
He'd be better off going back to that HQ and letting them shoot us. It'd get things done a lot quicker, and with a lot less paranoia. Ugh, sorry for being grim. But you know what I mean. I'd rather not have a target on my back for the rest of my life, especially after what we learned about Clace's vision. Maybe the leader holds a grudge? Good thing they might not have a monopoly anymore. They could probably kill us remotely with how much they control.
Yeah, so if we leak their secrets and take down the corporation entirely, then they can't do anything to hurt us. Kill us remotely?
We should ask Clace if we're allowed to tour with him. At least he has security, and he's always flying from place to place. After seeing Toronto, I kind of want to see what else is out there.
Touring with Clace would be pretty fun and extremely safe. I know enough about idols to know that their security is top-notch.
I mean, we're celebrities too now, right? I mean, they had cameras on us during that final standoff. It was a pretty historic moment, so I bet everyone knows our faces.
Or at least your hair color.
Well, even if they don't, I know people from my colony do. That gathering outside was a big mix of zeros and city folk. I locked eyes with a few of them, and without a word, they understood. They knew why I was never in the town square. They knew that I became a champion for all of them, and most importantly, they knew that the worst was over.
Oh, see ya, Spider. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully I'll see you next week for the next stream. But yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. He places his hand on the tree and sighs.
I just wish that he could have been there, you know?
He looks up to the top of the tree. Talking about his dad, his parents?
This is one of the trees we used to climb. Well, when we wanted to take it easy. It's pretty beginner. The deeper you go into the forest, the taller they get. That's where I'd watch the city and dream of experiencing it. It's like I got everything I always wanted, except for him. And that's the lame part. I'm not sad or anything, though. I know he'd be happy that I moved on and lived my life. Not only that, but we saved Zeros from being stuck on the colonies, so the stuff that happened to him won't happen anymore. And especially the stuff that happened in the town square. In my mind, those Zeros deserve a monument ASAP.
Yeah, the moment's forever etched in my mind.
It feels weird to witness a historic moment, doesn't it? We're all going to remember where we were when it happened. Everything felt different before that. It's hard to explain.
It's like a new era.
Yeah, you're right. Glad we can share it together. You mind if I have some time to myself, Delta? I'm just going to reminisce for a little bit.
Oh, is that what we're calling it now? I nod, and he looks back at the tree. I kind of think I could use some time to myself too. I made my way back to the cabin, thinking about almost everything. I'm surprised Chiron didn't mention anything about his parents. Maybe he thinks he missed his chance to talk to Isaac about it. If there were a time and a place, it would have been in the HQ. However, Isaac knows a lot more than he's been letting on. I was tempted to bring it up to Chiron, but it wasn't my place. That was Isaac's job now, whenever he felt ready. But it's a delicate subject. Chiron hates his parents. No idea how he'd reacted knowing he was named after the guy. It just makes me realize that there's still a long road ahead. So this wasn't the end, it was a new beginning. With that pleasant thought lingering in my head, I enter the cabin. Okay, that's Chiron's one done. Yeah, I mean, everything was sparked by the two people that killed themselves. Well, they starved themselves, they didn't kill themselves. They died due to starvation. Acor, again, thanks for being here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you got some good clips today. My first instinct is to imbibe the whiskey that everyone's been sharing, but I feel like I need a clear head to process everything that's going on. I describe the aura of our group as a mix of denial and optimism. We didn't really know what was happening back in Toronto. We could only guess. But everyone's deductions were logical. We'd be safer if that drive was destroyed. I wonder what kind of secrets Argus was hiding. Something called Panopticon? If I had any reception, I'd search it up, but there's none to be found. Life without a working phone seems terrible. I feel so vulnerable. A second later, the door opens, and it's Clace.
Hey, Delta. Thought I'd come see what's up.
Just trying to process everything. It's a lot.
A lot is probably an understatement. I'm sorry for panicking back at the HQ, by the way.
I'd say that was definitely panic-worthy.
Yeah, that's what everyone keeps saying. I didn't know what to expect from today, but it wasn't that. Until today, she only existed inside of my vision. The leader of Argus, though? Wow. Guess it makes sense that I never saw her then. No one else did either. At least until today.
Are you holding up all right?
I mean, that's kind of a big question. Because of my vision, I'm never really alright. I'm always just waiting until the next time it happens.
I mean, that's fair. You basically relive your death every time you see your vision.
They gave me some pills, though, and I make sure to take them. They're supposed to calm me down and stop me from dreaming.
Ah, that's right. My counselor said that visions are basically dreams. I suppose if you could suppress those, then things would be alright. But I have a feeling he's developed a dependency on those pills. I have a sudden flashback to our time at the Triple R. Those gummies he had gave him a dreamless sleep, as he put it. Perhaps there were better alternatives than those pills.
It can get really hard sometimes, you know? The vision could come at almost any time. But my old manager gave me this scarf when I told him about it. Sometimes when it happens, I grab at my neck in real life. I can never pull the rope off my neck in the vision. But when I tug on the scarf, and it comes loose, sometimes the vision ends. I guess it's a way of tricking my body to snap back. It doesn't always work, but it tends to come in handy.
Come to think of it, I've seen him playing with his scarf a lot. Has he had his vision right in front of us and we didn't even know?
Hey, I have a question.
Of course, you can ask me anything.
Well, the vision makes it really hard to live a normal life. There are days where it can get really, really rough. And on days like that, I just wish it would happen already. Does that make me a bad person?
Wishing for his own death. I don't think you should wish for something like that, or no, I'm not sure that I could handle it either. I'm gonna say the bottom one. No, I'm not sure that I could handle it either.
A lot of people can't. I tried looking for a support group before, but my label wouldn't let me go. People would gossip or something.
Of course. The issue with being a well-known person, with being a celebrity.
Anyway, I hope things make a bit more sense to you. They upped my dosage before letting me take this break. Something about wanting to avoid a public incident.
Yeah, I understand a lot more now.
I just miss my old manager. I know he would have fought for me, but since I'm all alone, I usually just do what they say. We know what's best for you is their most common excuse. I know they just want to make money off of me. At least my old manager had heart.
Still wondering if Clace knows that we read their diary. 'Cause that hasn't come up yet.
That's the one thing you need in a business like this. In a sea full of greed, kindness really stands out.
Maybe it would have come up had we done their heart-to-heart.
Did I ever tell you how I met him?
No, just that he passed away.
Oh. Well, he approached me after that talent show. Wanted to organize my transfer to a new school. My family obliged, and we started planning the move.
Sounds like he really believed in you.
Oh, he definitely did. He proved it every opportunity he could. Also, I had a best friend when I was in school. His parents were best friends with mine, too.
What the hell happened?
When it came time to move, they wanted to move as well. I was actually really happy. I wouldn't have to lose my best friend. It was a long drive, and I convinced his parents to let him come in our car. So there we were, all four of us. It felt like we all had the world in our hands. But when you do, it always finds a way to slip through your fingers. I was the only one who survived the accident on the way there. I just remember waking up in a hospital bed, in a world without them.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
His parents found out pretty fast, of course. They came to visit me, and I was actually hopeful. If anybody would take care of me, it would be them. But I saw nothing in their eyes, except resentment and hate. They told me I deserved a bunch of awful things, and left me there all alone. Apparently it was my fault, just because I wanted to sit beside my friend.
Grieving parents will lash out and blame whatever they can.
Everything felt hopeless for me at that point. I lost everybody, and I was cursed with this vision.
It's easier to find something or someone to blame than it is to accept that it was just bad luck.
But then my manager came to see me in the hospital. He held my hand, saying that he'd take care of me. And he did. Up until the day that he died, too. That's when I started negotiating new contracts, and this hiatus.
Wow.
He actually had the incident scrubbed from the internet. That's when we came up with the stage name, and left my old life behind.
Right. You mentioned that Clace wasn't his real name.
I do miss my old name, though, pretty badly. I can still hear my friend calling it out every time he saw me. Sometimes I think that part of me died with them in the accident.
Hey, if you'd like your name back, I'll happily use it.
Really?
Of course. You deserve to be called what you want.
Well, promise to keep it between us. At least for now.
Sure, I'll put it on the internet later. Absolutely. What would you like to be called?
Honestly, I'd tell you to take your pick. It started out as William, and then people called me Will. Will turned into Bill for some reason. I hated that one. But eventually that turned into Billy, and it stuck.
Definitely not Bill or Billy. So his name is William.
They always said it was the name that keeps on
I'll
giving.
have to just call him Willie.
But if I had any say in the matter, I'd choose Will or Billy.
I would go with Will. He looks more like a Will. Will's a little more sophisticated. Billy is very childish. That's not him. You got it, Will. He laughs, and a big smile appears on his face.
It sounds so weird to hear it after all those years. But thank you, Delta. From the bottom of my heart.
He opens his arms, and I give him a big hug.
There is one more thing I wanted to talk about, though.
Did you read my diary? walks to the cabin door and locks it before turning around.
I know you read my diary, Delta. Did a pretty bad job of covering your tracks.
Oh, there it is. Oh, no. I immediately lock up in fright, and the energy in the room changes drastically.
There's only one thing I have to say to you about it. Thank you.
Eh?
I don't know how to explain it, but it really helped me out. Made it a lot easier to open up to you just now. You understand a little more than the others outside. And in my situation, that makes a world of difference.
So, you're not mad at me? He steps forward until he's close to me again.
Oh, I definitely am. Actually, I consider it the end of our friendship.
Ah.
But it's also the start of something new. That's the thing about burning bridges, Delta. It's the only way we can build new, even stronger ones.
It's actually
Nobody
not, though.
says they can't lead to the same place as before.
You can always upgrade and reinforce bridges. You do not need to burn them down. And you're right, Sander, like, everything's coming up Delta, but that is the whole thing that I don't want to say I hate it about this game, but I dislike it about this game. It's like, Delta can do no wrong. Doesn't matter what happens, everything just comes up Delta. It's like, oh, you screwed up by reading someone's private diary and learning about their visions without their consent. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, we'll still be friends after that.
Are you good with that, Delta? A new start to our friendship, with more understanding. Now that you know my secrets, I know it'll bring us closer.
With more understanding, I know now that you're a bastard and a traitor. You can't be trusted with anything. God. I nod. A stronger bond sounds better to me. Like, honestly, if I were... And I might do a review video on this one in the future. I'm pretty sure if I have the opportunity, the title for it is going to be Delta wins by doing absolutely nothing.
Let's get back outside then, alright? I'm dying to see what Isaac does next.
Why did you have to put dying in red? It may be unintentional, but that could also be a really dark pun. I guess it doesn't matter though. I nod and we head towards the door. He unlocks it with a loud click and then looks back into my eyes.
You ready to see how this all plays out?
Yep, let's get this done. More ready than ever, Will. He smiles at me with a slight scoff. Then a moment later, we're back into the night. The campfire illuminates my friends and our final destination. I guess this was the end of our journey. It's a 30-hour journey. Oh, God. Sorry, I hope I'm not ruining this game for you, Hunter Elves. I am enjoying this. I make my way towards the campfire with Clace. My worry starts to dissipate since we've been safe for a while now. If Argus were going to come after us, they probably would have been here already. I take a seat beside Isaac, who seems lost in thought. He's staring down at the drive, clearly still wondering what to do with it. There's no denying it. Having that information put all of our lives in jeopardy. But were our lives worth that much? I can tell what Isaac's thinking. Those secrets could change the world. Maybe he already accepted that his cause might also end up being his demise.
Isaac,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you know we're here for you, right?
of course.
I can understand how tempted you are.
It's not temptation. It's more like a calling, you know? I think I'm supposed to be the one who does this.
Still nice and vague. This could be throwing it in the fire or using those materials.
Isaac, this is about way more than you now.
Huh?
Until the end, remember? We're in this together.
Yeah, but
I trust you, no matter what.
That was a little shocking to hear, especially given his vision. You'd think he'd want the path that puts his life in the least amount of danger.
Really?
He's been right about everything so far.
Even if it makes your vision happen?
Clace looks away, embarrassed.
I've already come to terms with it.
How?
Well, in my vision, I'm scared and confused. I don't know why it's happening to me. You'd think I'd want to avoid the death part, but no. More than anything, I just don't want to be confused when it happens.
I can understand that.
I want to know why it's happening to me. If it's for a good reason, at least I can accept it.
Yeah, it comes with the thing, like imagine you've had a vision for your entire life of some random stranger coming up to you and killing you with no context or explanation as to who they are or why they're doing it. You absolutely would get to the point where like, I'm not really so much worried about the fact that I'm going to die. Everyone dies eventually. But I want to know why? Why this person? Why that time? Why me? Like, it makes sense if it's someone that you don't know. You're going to be forever confused about that.
And this seems like a good reason to me. I mean, we're talking about the biggest secrets in the world.
Except we still don't know what KFC's 12 herbs and spices are, so maybe this is the second biggest secret in the world.
If my life is the cost of enlightening everybody, well, it just seems selfish to try and save myself. Besides, I'm not scared of dying. I felt like I deserve it for a long time now.
Deserve it?
That's part of why I stood up to that security guard.
Now, that's a completely different thing. I think that's unjustified. I don't think you deserve it.
Clace?
Is epic. You came back with boba. I need to know what kind of boba did you get, because boba is amazing. Okay, yeah, Clace dying be like, that's fair, I had it coming. No, you really didn't. Like, didn't have it coming. Like, there's no justification to it.
It's just like my manager used to say too. The death of an artist only marks the start of their career.
That's not a good saying. That's such a grim thought. I can't imagine giving someone that kind of advice. But if Clace's manager knew about his vision, it makes more sense. It might give him comfort that he'd still be remembered. And when I start to think about it, it's absolutely true. There are so many artists that I know about because they've died. No, most artists I know at least are because they're still alive and producing music, but okay. Yeah, come on, is epic. What kind of boba did you get? Like, is a specific flavor? Like, I literally, in like the last 6 months, I've really gotten into drinking like boba tea. It's fantastic, a nice little treat for myself. I love the taro flavored boba tea. Like, it's really nice. And then the other day I found one which was a honeydew melon flavored milk tea. It was delicious, absolutely delicious. Way too much sugar in it, but very tasty. You're a weird dude. Got cotton candy milk tea with green apple boba. That doesn't sound so bad. It's going to be like a very sweet milk tea with like little pops of fruity flavor in it. Doesn't sound that bad. I know a lot of people are like, I find that people that go for just like a standard like brown sugar tea, like that's kind of like your basic white girl combo, at least in my opinion. If you love it, fantastic, but it's not particularly adventurous is what I mean. There's definitely more interesting flavors out there. Like I found which was taro with like the red beans in it. I never thought I would enjoy the red beans, but I tried it for the first time. I'm like, it actually adds a real creaminess to it that I wasn't expecting, and I think it's now up there as one of my favorites. Yeah, taro ice cream is great as well, completely underrated. I love the more like savory note to it. I feel like we should start to appreciate those that are with us just a little bit more.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah?
How does it feel? You know...
Dante interjects.
Taylor, that's not proper.
Yeah, it's really not.
But...
No, it's okay. I'd be curious too.
Well, my vision has always confused me. Sometimes I think it might mean that I'm dead too.
This all wraps up with Argus dropping a bomb and just like carpet bombing our campsite and everyone dies.
What is it?
Just complete darkness.
Ooh, we are finding out about their visions. Taylor's vision is complete darkness. Does he go blind at some point?
It's almost like I'm stuck in a void, completely lost and alone. I know that nobody will come save me. Despite that, I just cling to the remnants of hope. Then, it just ends.
Well, it's not really like that. By the time the darkness sets in, you've already abandoned hope. And it's not really darkness either. It's like the absence of everything.
The void.
It's something you need to experience before you can understand. Of course, by the time you understand it, it's already over.
The way he words it is so peculiar.
You know how they say your life flashes before your eyes?
Yeah?
It's kind of true, but it's not the events you relive, it's the emotions. It's like you feel everything and everyone you've ever felt. And do you want to know what scares me the most?
He sniffles like he's almost about to cry.
I don't feel any of you when it happens. It's like we never even met. Or worse.
Well, in some ways that's a good thing, because that would mean that your vision only comes true if you had not met all of these people, but then that also doesn't make sense as to why the head of Argus would be after you, so maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. We exchanged glances, almost taking some of his despair for our own.
Oh, we've got your back, Clays. That vision is of a different you. It has to be.
Maybe.
Is it peaceful? In the end?
Yeah.
It's clear that Dante is asking for himself. He must want to know how his family felt in their final moments.
Do you feel regret?
No.
Also, nice
You
joke.
can tell
Ice
it's
Epic.
ending. There's almost no need for
Very good.
regret. There are a lot better ways to spend your final moments.
Like what?
Thinking about the people we love, the ones that will never see us again.
That seems like it's enough to comfort Dante. He also appears like he's going to cry, but almost out of happiness. I guess he was worried that his parents died while still mad at him.
Thanks.
Guess I better start writing new music now.
Huh?
You know, 5 albums over 10 years. I never thought I'd actually have to deliver.
That's, there's gonna be some crunch time for that.
I can get you my guitar if you want.
Sure, I'd love to see it.
You mean your vision is supposed to happen within the next 10 years?
I think so. So I promised them whatever they wanted. In reality, I just wanted a taste of freedom before the end.
But now we're gonna keep you safe. We're gonna keep the entire group safe.
Gonna do our best.
Guess I have my work cut out for me then.
What's happening here? Yeah, that's fine. Got a shopping order on its way later this afternoon.
As long as Isaac does the right thing, yeah.
What is the right thing? Isaac sighs, his hand trembling as he grips the drive. I feel like he's already made up his mind. Who wouldn't want to know every dirty secret that Argus tried to hide? The allure of the unknown. That's why we're still sitting here together after all, unified by our desire to embrace the unknown and change the world. I look at Isaac, and he smirks at me. An odd smirk, almost like it's a code. I remember that look. It's the same one he gave me in the server room. That was right before he started downloading all of the files. Wait. The quick flashing lights as he stared at the screen. There was no way he'd be able to read all of those. He probably couldn't even make out a single word before the next file flashed by. But, oh, that's clever. In order to glean any info from those files, he'd have to relive that moment over and over. He may not know what they say, but he still holds them all in his mind. If Argus ever launched that new tech, he'd be able to dive in and read them all. Or better yet, he'd be able to share those memories with everybody. It seemed like Isaac now had the most valuable mind in the entire world. Of course, due to my feelings for him, I could sense that from day one. In this game of chess played through time and space. I'd call that a checkmate. Irreparable damage was already done to Argus and their monopoly in the present. And if they pursued this nostalgia tech, they'd only seal their own fate in the future. If there's one thing you couldn't forge, it's a memory. Especially when it's corroborated by all of our presences. Isaac scoffs and then looks down at the campfire. It feels like for those few moments our thoughts were exactly in sync. Is that why I'm being watched? Does Argus want to know about that drive? Well, if they were worried about their data, there's no need. I know exactly what Isaac was about to do. His grip on the drive tightens. Not giving in to temptation in the face of all those secrets? Admirable. But it's clear, he placed more value on our lives and our safety. It's possible that this drive is what caused a rift between the group. It could be the reason that we're no longer in touch in the future. So, he didn't just hold a drive in his hands. He held the power to defy that fate and ensure the success of our pact.
This?
He gulps and pauses like he's choosing his next words carefully.
I guess this isn't part of our story.
With that, he throws the drive into the fire. A collective weight is removed from all of our shoulders. We hear crackling noises as it burns, and all the data is lost.
Hey, here you go.
I look over at Chiron, who's handing a guitar to Clace. Are we going to get a song to play us out for the credits? That must have been the one he played when he lived out here.
Thanks, Chiron.
He takes it, strums it a few times before adjusting the tuning keys. When I first joined this group, I was definitely the odd one out. I had no idea what the future would bring, which was both a blessing and a curse. That's the thing about the future, though. Run from it in fear, or embrace it head on. You can never stop it. Our group was a mixture of both mentalities due to Komorebi. But now, nobody here had to live their life with a vision that influenced their lives. Not even Argus or Komorebi could stand in the face of true resolve and belief. We'd keep Clay safe and ensure that none of us drift apart.
So, one more song?
I hope you got a lot more than that in you.
Yeah, of course. Here's something you might not recognize.
We look at each other and smile as we greet the dawn of an uncertain future. Because despite all odds, you never really knew what was coming next. When you stop to think about it, isn't that the beauty of life? Let's enjoy this song for a moment. Are we going to get credits? Maybe? We are. So we had 3 songs inserted here. Sometimes it hurts too much to be alone. Got all of my best friends, how lucky that is. He is epic, 100% yes. Here's Wonderwall. I think we all see things we don't wanna believe. That changes our outlook, our fates and destinies. There you go, Joel Studler did an excellent job with the music. Of course they're gonna spruik the album. I would say out of the 3 songs they featured, this one's probably my favorite. His voice feels more natural with acoustic accompaniment than it did in the others. There's no way to find out, no one can know. A gift from the future that now I bestow. Yeah, I have to agree, Sander. The whole chess match through time and space angle was super underplayed. I wouldn't even say underplayed. It was almost like the very concept of it didn't exist until over 75% of the way through the entire story. It was something that, yeah, they kind of dropped in at a final moment. It's not even something that they could give, attribute credit to Delta to for it. Because even without Delta, Isaac would have found out about and known about the nostalgia tech. So things would have played out without Delta's presence at all. And that's always disappointing. Also, Ethan Butt, nice name. Quite a lot of backers for this one, though. I didn't even realize this was on Kickstarter originally. It obviously managed to raise quite a bit of money for it. That's impressive. Hey, there we go. We get one additional achievement for our troubles. Yeah, that, like I said, out of all 3 songs that they featured from Clace, that last one is probably the best and most well composed and put together, I think. All right, let's throw down final save here. There we go. Love that there's not even a way for me to exit the game at this point. Yeah, you feel like Isaac could have had a cooler conclusion than just a silent acknowledgement. I agree. There could have been more discussion there. Small critique, the game ending with the song doesn't sound right. Like with Slime Rancher, it felt tragic but bittersweet. This song feels like something you hear in a Fortnite concert. I don't know, like the previous songs were a lot more upbeat and energetic and I think would be more appropriate for like an in-game concert. This one, it's got that element of feeling bittersweet. The lyrics were talking about like being able to flashback and change memories and look at the past and things like that. And speaking to time, the past, the present, the future. And I think that's an appropriate topic to kind of go out on. But yeah, kind of interesting. I guess like final thoughts, like overall, if I were to give this game like an actual rating on a 1 to 10 scale, I think it'd sit pretty firmly at like a 6 out of 10. It's good, it's competent, the voice acting is solid from start to finish. The writing leaves a little bit to be desired. We saw some editing mistakes with some of the script writing, and some of it just like didn't feel like natural things that the player character would say. I also am deducting points from it, again, as we've said multiple times, to the fact that Delta is really a nothing character. The game does not benefit from having Delta present, but it also doesn't suffer from having Delta present. I also think that considering the game really takes the relationship angle as one of its main appeals, I think it really underplayed the amount of engagement that the player has with building those relationships and seeing some of those scenes play out, saving it all for the final moments. It could have done a lot more with that, scattering it throughout, and it would have done a lot to help push the player through to see how those relationships develop further. As it currently stands, it feels like the first 75% of the game is very much just learning about the characters, and I think just as you said there, Sandra, a lot of banter, and that banter flows really well, but it's not engaging enough to probably push the average player through the story. It's good, it's not incredible, it's not amazing, it's not brilliant. It's competent. And I definitely felt, and I think a lot of you felt as well, that going through that first, the first 3 acts of the game, we were always just sitting here going like, when is the plot going to start moving? I think the overall plot, the premise, and some of the concepts that it introduces around reliving memories, visions of the future that may or may not be set in stone, the whole social construct and credit point system, I think in isolation, they're all really cool concepts that you could do a lot with. I don't feel like the game fully capitalized on any one of those aspects because it wasn't quite woven into the story in a way that I think it could have been. You just have to look at games like the Deus Ex series to see better examples of what an overbearing future tech corporation could have in terms of an influence on the future, and the kind of story that you can write about having someone pushing back and fighting against that. You just have to look at games like Mass Effect to see how sci-fi relationships can really be built and developed in a more engaging and engrossing way. Like, this game doesn't quite do enough to stand out, at least from my opinion. Again, I come back to it's not terrible. There's nothing here that ever kind of pushed me away and made me go, nope, that's bad, I don't want to play this. But the plot never progressed at such a pace or touched on topics in such an engaging way to make me fully invested in it, and I can see a lot of people would probably stop playing after the first act, if they even kind of quite got that far, because you're always just waiting for that moment of, when is this going to pick up and really get interesting? And there were a few moments where it went, oh, right, now is when the plot's starting to get moving. Like that moment they had in the bar where we get that scene change for the first time and that break in everything. And we see that, you know, we can no longer trust what we're actually seeing. But then we see that a couple of times in the future, like, you know, further into the game, but it's never really explained why that's happening. Who was the vision that we saw? Why were they taunting us with information? That hasn't been explained. It hasn't. We know that people are watching and they know about us, but why were they taunting us with things? We don't know. So I think they didn't quite tie up all the loose threads in the way that they could have. Would I still recommend this game? Potentially. I think people who enjoy visual novels and want something maybe a little bit different, people who like those kind of sci-fi settings, people who are wanting something with a slightly more like open relational aspect would probably enjoy this. But if you're the kind of person that wants to be able to play through a story where your character is actively involved, to be able to make decisions that shape the outcome of the narrative and the final conclusion, this game's not quite there. It doesn't manage to fully check any of those boxes. So that's why I think like around a 6 out of 10 would be a numerical rating if I had to give it that. I think keeping in theme for my channel and like how I normally do my ratings, what would I give it as an out of 10 rating? Ooh, I think I would probably have to give it something like a therapist out of 10. This game touches on some of those topics around life, death, depression, and things like that really well. I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see a bit more about like what Taylor's vision is all about. It's just black. Why? What's going on there? Is that unusual? Other people before? So I think like given the way it makes you think about life and death, I think a therapist out of 10 is probably close to what's right. You could have an engaging conversation with them. They'd probably have something interesting to say. Not everyone needs to see a therapist, but you might need to after having played this game. There we go. I think just off the cuff, I think that's where my rating would be. I do want to check just quickly as well, like how many people have made it through to the end of the game. More than I'd expect, actually. The Beauty of Life, the final achievement, has been unlocked by 40.9% of players. So obviously, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. A lot of people have played it through to completion. So maybe it was just me that the story didn't quite grip with. But considering it's a 30-hour game, fully voice acted, getting just under half of your player base to complete it all the way through, that's nothing to scoff at. That's quite an achievement, and Clace and the team behind the game should absolutely be proud of that. But now I have to do the one thing that pains me the most, and that's that I have to Alt-4 to quit the game. So that's fun. All right. I think we're just about good to wrap things up here. I want to give another shout out to Hunter Earls to say thank you very much for the wonderful game suggestion. I have enjoyed playing my way through this, and I am grateful to everyone that's kind of stuck with and been able to see this one through to conclusion. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. It has definitely been a journey from start to finish. So just a reminder, there is a new review video dropping tomorrow, which is going to be on some lovely retro gaming. And then I'm excited for the one coming for the week after, which is going to be our return to RPG Maker. Next week for the live stream, we're going to be diving back into Ebenezer and the Invisible City. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Ebenezer and Invisible City. Might be finishing that one next stream. Might have one more after that. And then we're going to take a moment to kind of sit back and reassess what we want to do with live streams in general. I think I've got a bit of a plan for how to bring a little bit of energy and excitement back to them, but we'll see what you guys think. I'll put some posts up on Discord and maybe YouTube as well to get a feel for people's appetite for a little bit of change. But otherwise, gonna call it there. I've got a script to go and finish writing, so I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you very much for hanging out with me here today. It has been a wonderful experience, and yeah, hopefully I will see you hanging out in the chat of tomorrow's video. Until then, take care everyone. Thanks for stopping by.